we've played a game or two
Right,
together, a tournament or two, and a
there's a
trophy
chance
or
that
two
I need
lifted.
to move some of
We're
this
diving
stuff
into
up,
Split
but
to
we'll see.
start this one out, Tom. What's your
We
impression
got Fnatic on defense, we got Vitality
Split, Lotus, and Haven? Does it lean to
on
either team?
attack.
But the interesting thing is you
Where
go
should
back
this
to
go?
what,
Okay,
last
maybe?
week where we had that sort of GX matchup, and Vitality have gone with the exact same pool. So clearly feeling very comfortable where they ended up, but that also gives the tape over to Fnatic. Durka though, he is looking to
My goodness.
and brawl
It's like a
within the
fake
first
A.
seconds of the round, but
And then late
could
mid
just well be
take,
a
but
ruse. The rest of
Durka
the
is
team
super
still
committed.
patiently waiting back in mid.
Does have a
Yeah, and you've still
TP
got that gate crash
out
down
if he wants to.
inside sewers
But
as
dude, he's
well,
just
so
calling his
decent
team over. They
fallback
think it's
option
solo
if they
elbow.
need it.
Alpha's the
The
most
idea to
patient
fake
player
out
I've ever
early
seen right
and
now.
Not much of a reaction
And
from
Bolster is
Fnatic.
selling the
Very
bait
stable as they push
heavy.
up in B main, gaining control, and Alpha was tucked in that corner the entire time, getting a
Keep an
reward
eye on
for
how
his patience
proactive
here.
Fnatic
You see
were
the
as
Yoru,
well.
you think maybe it could
Lost
be a fake,
middle,
it could be
insta clear
looking
over
to
towards
gate crash
B.
back, but now they've got the steps as well, confirming that
Nice
this
shot.
attacking side is moving up into heaven. Alpha greets them there as well. A double opener, but Safe puts him to bed. There's still a chance on this
Okay,
A
Kayak
side
on
hole,
the
but fast
luck
rotations coming behind
or
them,
the
and
flank,
being boxed in with
but
that
doesn't
middle
have a
push-up
TP to get
that's
over
come
the
through
trip.
from Chronicle and players rotating into the site. It's still quite an uphill battle.
It's looking rough at this stage.
Yeah,
for the
Bosis
side
just
of
needs to stay alive
Vitality.
here.
Bolster just playing passive, a wraparound already coming in from behind, and Safe is going to have to hit
What a
the
shot
shot
that is.
immediately and won't be given the chance. Kicks stuck in the mud. The grab will bring it back, still manages to get one.
Okay,
but
this
that
was a
will be
very
all
nice
she
pistol.
wrote.
Alpha's patience in this corner is wild.
Of Fnatic, and that's the thing. We come into this matchup.
Boster? Yeah, Boster did great.
One with a potential for either side
He was
to
just
take it. Obviously, you go
a human
historically,
decoy
Fnatic have always
for
been the ones
for
winning that fight of
like
the two
40
teams,
seconds,
but
to be honest.
this is the first case where Durka is on the other side of the pool and as the best duelist, and well, if you look at who won Duelist of the Year last year, also the second best duelist being on the team. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if Fnatic can weather that storm and keep that streak going.
Well, at least for now, it
Okay, we
started
got
out well.
Outlaw
1-0
on
as they
defense,
begin,
and I'm a little bit
Outlaw
worried.
purchased up in
We see
round
teams
two.
do
I'm
this at the
happy to
moment. It
see
normally
Can't
ends
wait
in
to
them
see
getting
what Alpha get
eco'd.
done with it.
The
This
FX
round,
spy on
it
defense.
might be later in the round. Could even be the retake where he's needed.
If it
Vitality,
goes
they have a
well,
lot to work
like
with.
your
Weaker
first buy round's
weapons
looking
across the
great.
board.
If
Pistols,
it goes badly,
classics,
obviously you
deployment,
kind of eco.
share.
2 hero guns.
They move towards the A site, which
Okay,
was
they
wide
lose
open.
A
The
heaven
person defending
control.
his crashes with
B
his early
push,
utility,
and
hoping to
they pick up the
counteract,
open
garner some
kayak.
information, but Vitality
So,
already gave that
Fnatic's
info away.
super
The gate
reactive at
crash
the
in
moment.
site
I wonder if
gets Durka
they've
all of this space. The plan
if they've seen
will be
how
difficult
heavy
to stop without
Vitality
a
like
big
to stick
risk
together on a lot of
with
these
the peak
rounds.
out of heaven. And so, yeah, a post plan. Not bad start for Vitality already.
The issue is, other than the extra credits, now it comes down to how much
Damn,
they can garner.
Yuto's
Usage,
kinda
actually,
nice, though.
of that aftershock is going to help them out quite significantly. 2 picks already. Kicks now stuck in the back lines. Sheriff in hand. 3 players to find. It would be an absurd way to start out this matchup. Nice shot on the burst, but can't quite correct.
Nice,
Very
though.
close, actually, to taking down both.
Considering their
It's
buy though,
damage.
this
It's
works
not
out pretty
bad,
well. They're gonna have
but
4
Fnatic
guns.
still convert.
Yeah, I think Vitality get
Both
the
manages
best
to
of
get
both
his ult
worlds
as
here,
well.
being able to push
Mother
into a
Bard,
site
thank you
where
so much,
it's
bro.
not
Appreciate
very
the tier
heavily
1.
defended, and then they get those close range engagements with the pistols as the players are coming back out of screens. So yeah, when push comes to shove in the rest of the fights, you're not going to be
Love that
winning
from you,
them.
Mother
But
Bard. Love that
well-placed
from you.
utility and a good gamble early rounds resulted in a dent to the Fnatic economy at the
That is
very
true.
least.
I'm
But
shooting
now
again,
the
baby. Every day I'm shooting at the start.
The positivity
We're getting
spreads for
back
sure.
to
Team
reality,
Killer as
though,
well with the
for
10 months.
Vitality.
Thank
They've
you
made
so
it
much for that,
work
bro. Thank you,
pretty
thank
well
you.
with a minimal investment. Now the big guns come through.
I'm excited for this one. I feel like both teams have come in with high energy. Saw Alfier a little bit early on, and he said he's definitely ready to play, ready to go, and I think he's going to want to beat his old teammate. For now, though, it's his teammate of Kayak. Already getting that early aggression onto Safe. Bear in mind, of course, that there are still a few vulnerabilities here.
The attack
for the
cam's
side of
kinda
Fnatic, but
nice.
a victory would send their economy skyrocketing and also retrieve some extra
Say,
weapons as they go.
dude, Fnatic had come in
Crashies on a
pretty
Stinger. That
pretty
outlaw,
prepped on
okay,
this one.
Still decent, but still in play.
The Outlaw giving them opportunities as well. You know, even if Crashies just peppers
That
them up.
is incredibly
Already
close.
seen through that cage, but Chronicle going down in mid, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, I
You're
think the
losing your
smoke
Viper
just
wall
faded in the middle
and
for
some
that
A
duel,
control
but
as a result, at least a denial on the push. But
this is really
instead
nice
they
as
go
well. Takes the
pushing.
TP over
Fnatic find a
towards
pick
here,
back in
and
the
then
other
we've got
direction.
4 info
Keep
over
that
towards A.
advantage now in a
Got the
3
backup if
versus
they do
4,
go
and
over towards
Vitality
here,
very
but
much moving
looking
towards the
alright.
position that Fnatic
Looking very
wanted to,
nice, to be
right into
honest.
the waiting hands of Kayak.
It's been fantastic so far.
Dude, that duel in
Bolster as
middle,
well.
Duck
Even
went down
just
to
said it
2 as well.
Seconds ago. He's on point.
Does Boaster shoot the TP or does he wait for
Will
it?
be the point of contention.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, they might not think he's here
Eyes are
now.
Focused on Kayak. Doors open for Boaster. He welcomes
Hey,
himself
very
in.
nice,
That's a
man.
double
Kayak
pick
and
from the
Boaster.
backside. A great round for Kayak as well.
Kinda fragging
Fnatic
heavy.
really heating up,
Heavy,
or rather,
heavy.
coming in hot with a 3-0 start and denial of the early buy round from Vitality. This is going to be quite
Think
the
Zyru
lead
should have
built
similar
up on the
performance
defensive
today
side.
as last time?
Let's talk
Nah, it should be
expectations
impossible.
as well, Tom. Like you're seeing
You can't keep that
3-0 on the board
consistency up.
for Fnatic. How worried are Vitality at this point?
But that's been the interesting thing. You look back to the very small amount of data we have from stage 1, and both teams have had very successful attack sides. So you're talking a 9-3 versus GX, and that game actually started to slip back a little bit. And then on the other
The
side,
real
8-4
Zyru can?
versus
Yeah,
Na'Vi
that is a crazy
for Fnatic.
performance from the actual...
The question I have, though, is that are some of
Your
the heroes
debut.
for either side still going to have the same
But yeah, you're
level?
right. Zyru would do it. Dude, that second shot.
Insane game
Did it
last
not?
week
Okay,
to
Teva.
help them get the victory over Na'Vi. And wow, Sivu, maybe
This must be
coming out
nice
with
for
the
Kayak as well.
debut of the
Looking at-
season.
we saw on
Definitely
Fracture
debut of
that-
the season. Maybe debut of
Feels like his
ever
comfort
in
is
EMEA.
like an op.
Yeah, well,
So getting the
coming
Outlaw out
into
is
this week,
huge.
Coming into today, he's the leader in terms of ACS. He was second last week after all the games were played. Second to Zeus.
Does
who,
Chronicle get
He
greedy?
was all right in the first week, so that's not bad. Again, low investment from Vitality, so not too excited to see these battles going on.
Dude,
as they
it's
should
really,
go
really nice
the
at
way
the
that they
moment.
have. A bit of a dent. The Vitality
Do
were
you
able
reckon
to dish
Vitality
out for the
timeout
most
here? I'm
part.
thinking so.
Again, dominance
Genji,
for Fnatic.
FPS, thank
One
you so
other
much for the
talking point
5.
is
Thank you,
fact,
thank you,
though,
the
that
5 gifted. I
if you're
appreciate
gonna
that,
go into the
Genji.
exact same veto as you did in week 1 against Fnatic, like, okay, we've obviously had changes
know what
in
to do.
coaching
Get the oil
staff
spam
with
going. Thank you so
Milan
much. And
Scott
Scudo as
now,
well, thank you for the
as that
gifted.
sort of
You
leading
nailed that.
way. Yeah, of course, you're supporting the Irish guy. But no, genuinely, from what we've heard from BBL as well, those guys do their research. I've seen Milan. No offense, Matt. Doesn't look like you've slept a lot. I think he's been up
Oh
all
my
night
goodness.
before this game. So obviously the same could be
Call
said for
them
the other
out.
side. Vitality. You
Kayak
have
throws
given them
the
data to look
Outlaw
at,
away
and they're coming in with the
and
exact
gets
same
the
idea.
op.
4-0
But I
start.
think that's good. You kind of punish them to
said
know
it's
that they
been
have to
good
buy
attack
heavy
sides,
armor.
and so for
Then you're getting rid of the
Vitality, they
gun
know
that makes them
maybe the worst is yet to come.
Well,
It's time to start putting
get rid of the
rounds
gun
up
that
on
would
the board,
one-shot
and
it,
this
so
is where
they
you
can
do
still
it.
get one-shot by
Rolling
this.
Thunder online alongside
No
Safe,
timeout? Yeah, I'm a
although
little
he
bit-
doesn't have his ult, he's still got those
I wanna say
salvos
concerned
at
that
will
there's no
incrementally
timeout,
through the
but
rounds. I don't think we used them
most-
early
most-
on. Indeed, that
most
it would
people
be
would
alive
be
that
timing
they're
out here.
being used, as you've seen just a default Vitality spreading across the map, waiting for aggression, and they
Great
spotted
flash.
that a couple times. That Nichols come in
It's
once
a
they
great
take
flash.
space elsewhere.
It's
Smoke
the
goes
same
up in
thing
mid,
again, right,
and
though?
that
Lose
prompts the
middle,
B push,
insta
but not
reaction
ready
over
for it to
towards
pack
B.
Quite that much of a punch in a big round for Vitality. They're already a man behind.
That's the thing, you look back to that GX game, Sivo was lurking there a lot. I think that might just be direct pressure. Flash through. Alfiera is watching, but Durka timing almost
Yeah, but it's good
works out
timing,
for
so you
him.
see him going back, so you know what the
Either way,
initial
it has
plan
forced
was.
them back. An important entry though.
Oh
Chronicle
boy,
down.
how does
Leaves
Kayak
a
want
bit
to
of
play
an
this?
opening, but the B main aggression is still there. Kayak is waiting, not gonna fall for it, and then gets the easy
Really
shot.
nice
Now
from
has
him.
his dimensional drift, and Alfia for support, who's gonna
Oh my
swing
God,
back
safe.
in. Safe connects one while still
Okay,
on the
Kayak,
ropes,
just don't
but they know
commit too much.
exactly where he
Dude,
is.
nice.
An easy
Wait,
pick
Kayak's
up
looking
for Boaster.
great.
And now left onto less. 20 seconds.
Kayak's
of
looking
Kayak just
really
is
good.
not missing a beat.
Really,
What a
really
start
good.
this guy is having mentioned. Well, I think we have had some lack of expectations from Kayak,
well,
like
now the
whether he
timeout's
can
coming in.
match up to the likes of Durka. He's doing all right.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
going.
I
We're
mean,
taking
there's
B
always
main.
going to be questions.
Right, 3.
Oh, we got live comms now?
That's exactly what we were touching on as well. That's great to see. Thank you very much to our EVS team for that one. The idea that, again, they're
Do the
taking
mid-round
You
stuff?
see that take. What was the response in some of the early rounds? Push B main. Same thing here, but because Vitality
Okay,
didn't
well,
have
there's the
players in
timeout.
position earlier, they didn't know that Yoru Flash was being used.
There is
They
the
weren't
timeout,
ready for the
Travs.
pop, and
Let's do a
the
little
reaction to
catch-up.
jump up behind
a
the
chance we
boxes
missed some names.
was punished very quickly
Probably,
indeed.
yeah, I think I have
Vitality go
missed
back to
some.
the drawing
Green
board here,
Kitten,
as
thank you,
make no
thank you. Got
mistake,
Vashes,
their game plan was
Wing,
bait aggression out of
FML
their
Well,
opponent,
Aman,
and they did
thank you
that
so much.
successfully.
Infamous,
That's where it
Ash,
started
and
to fall
Anonymous,
apart.
whoever
And
the
then
Anonymous
pulling
is.
in
Thank
the
you so
Rolling
much, guys.
Thunder as well into
We're
this
at
round when we're
7,
coming
7-5
in.
ready,
Safe
dot
just
69
now
of
having
course.
the Armageddon. It's a lot of,
Thank you, guys.
I guess, gamble from that side that play would work out in a round like
And
that
for
where they
people
have
that are new,
rifles. It didn't connect, and now they go back to
hope
the
for the
drawing
day.
board for what is.
It
We've gone
is
from
suicide
needing to get
prevention.
a couple
Why not?
rounds on the board here now,
Spread
feel a little bit
awareness.
more confident to
kind
panic
of main
stations.
motto is,
Fnatic
it's
are
okay.
getting close to just running away with this.
Not be okay.
And as I said, like, I think
It's
Fnatic
just
are
all
no
about just
slouches when it comes to
talking
that second
to
half, so
people. Get in help
I think a
if
good
you need
time
the
to
help.
take a pause. It did seem like
And
maybe
yeah,
a lot of the
appreciate
talking was
everyone
coming out of safe.
donating.
Faded.
Again, really
Looked
good
a little bit
cause.
quieter on screen,
We've
so
had it
I think
in
clearly
this game.
taking control in that
Multiple
scenario,
people's
maybe
lives
spotting stuff,
to play the
getting
game as well.
stealth. I wonder if we're going to see something slightly more
And
direct.
again,
as you said,
gamers-
adaptations being made from
Gamers,
Fnatic on the fly.
we play games for a reason
All the way
majority
you
of the
can
time.
take that away from them is surprise factor.
The escapism, so it's good to talk about everything if you need to talk to people.
Come in just after salvos have fully popped, or just before, in fact. Dirk is going to tank a little bit of it for the
This
element
is looking
of
like one of their
surprise.
better rounds as an eco.
Being able to catch anyone off guard, but this is a great round to take those risks in when you've got those weaker weapons. Armageddon
nowhere to go.
Oh, that's impressive. Oh man, that was impressive though. Dodge the ult, hit the stun, and still got the kill.
Trade out. Well, if it was just for the kill, it wouldn't be worth it. But now
Oh, they
they've got heaven
TP out
control
of there.
and a
And
real
Dirk now
chance
gets
in this
ult,
round.
and they're really going for it. There's a lot of ults invested.
So available. That's just been
But
picked
again,
up by Dirk.
looking like their best
He can
chance.
get them the information if he needs. Instead, he's just going to go
Boaster with his
fighting,
fast death.
just beating his old IGL with only a ghost in hand. This leaves Kayak 9 and 2.
Planted.
Operator not really
Should
the
be
gun
impossible
you
with
want.
less
In
here.
these moments, he'd have to pick less out of
Oh,
the
he
corner,
just
and he
unscoped.
checks the right position, but doesn't
1,
quite
2,
find
3
that
gun
final
upgrades to
kill.
the back.
Case save card thrifty is what gets Vitality onto the board, and I don't know what was said in that pause, but it was bang on.
Yeah, absolutely the right call. Just putting that bit more pressure on early.
The stun
Like we
is
said,
gorgeous.
taking some risks. Alpha obviously trying to dodge the stone with that jump up. Doesn't manage to, but still picks off a kill. But it's the chaos on the site. Both the player in heaven being crept up on, and then the fact that you're looking the wrong way. Boaster worried about that
Yeah,
heaven
give me back
walk
to me,
up.
give me back to
Worried
me,
about
Alec,
Les, who
baby.
just found a pick
Give me
moments
back.
ago. Ends up missing out on Durka. 5-1.
Why do you think so many teams in the EMEA favor the Sheriff over the Stinger? Because they don't practice with the Stinger enough, to be honest. Like in terms of just gun meta, especially with the stats that you've given, Gabri, it's very clear
It
that
has to be just the escape
EMEA is
from
maybe a little
Kayak.
bit
They set him
behind.
up. Basically succeeded.
On-
It looks like there's
on
going to be
what's
an
strong in the game.
immediate response though. An attempt
Fade
to
all
deny
goes
any
in,
chance
Raze
at
all
a
goes
path,
in, and this guy back
utilization
aside.
of that
How is he
showstopper,
alive?
But it actually hasn't got the kill. The player at backside with the spike still survives. Safe has just popped off as well. 2 of his own.
Dude, unless is going for the luck again.
How Kicks is still alive. Well, I do. The stairs saved him. Just the corner of them caught the showstopper as it was
Yeah,
firing
the Raze ult
into, well, what would have been certain
really,
death for
really
Kicks.
missed the mark.
Would even make this fight a little easier.
Damn, I
They
like
don't
this from
have to worry
Cybo
about
though.
Seavoth
Gets
on the
smoked
side.
off,
Kicks
smokes
with
this
another,
back
and
so that he
now
can push through.
Chronicle has to clutch up. He's already got himself a triple. 2 more. The ace
Yeah,
needed.
and
but
I like
Les
this also
again,
from
the
Les, right?
dagger
Les
in the back
enabled
from Heaven.
earlier
His
last
lurks have
rounds,
been great these
right?
last 2
So
rounds.
then this
Huge
round on
value
his luck,
found.
he's playing
And now
super,
5-2.
super late. You saw
That
Chronicle
early
disattach from his
contest
teammates
was nowhere
because
to
he's
be
looking
found,
for the
but
earlier luck
Vitality
that happened
waking
last
up
time.
before it seems to be
And this
too
is
late.
why,
And they have
ooh
been
boy,
more
hit the
direct.
corner.
They haven't
And
really
this is
allowed
why
their opponents
I
a
strongly
chance to
believe
try
like
and
Les
respond
is
in immediate
incredible
pop of
to
that
watch if
dimensional
you're
drift, spots
a
out
Cypher main on
the
this
position
map.
of Kayak. And at that stage, when you have that up, you
You
have
learn
to
so
leave.
much from watching
You're
him.
going to get salvaged, you're going to get stunned. It just
good
has to
choice.
be a retreat. And sure, I don't mind the initial response from Fnatic. Use that Nightfall, try and get back in nice and quick, even using a showstopper of their own in combination. The fact is, though,
How is Fnatic
it's
leading?
just the patience.
I mean,
I think that ends up working out for the
they're
side
winning
of
more
Vitality.
rounds.
Just, I think it takes
They had a really
a
good
certain
start.
level of skill
They had a
to
really, really good
rush
start.
in somewhere and then just stop and do absolutely nothing. Just wait for your opponents to make a move,
Okay,
because
well,
if you try and
have a
push
little
forward and
check
they're
on what this
waiting,
is going on.
you probably lose the round. Think if Kicks even moves an inch or 2 forward and
Charlotte
tries
with the
to pop,
10, thank
he
you
doesn't stand a
so much,
chance in that
Charlotte.
moment.
Thank you,
It's
thank
just
you.
that freeze
And
and giving
Mango
space
Freeze with
for
the
that
25.
little bit of extra time for safe.
Appreciate you
I
doing
was
that
lucky
also.
enough to catch up with Kata yesterday. Cadavra
How
from
fast is
Maine
that
said,
you?
I got the little tutorial on
Yeah,
Seavoth.
move
That's,
this like here.
I've said it enough times in front of him that he said it's close enough. I think that's how they're going.
That probably
to the
is
French team.
still wrong.
It probably is, most likely, but there's a lot of debate over in French whether the PH would come through or not.
Doing the
Seavoth
Aspas,
was
yeah.
another alternative that we were given. Not going to go with that one. The Americanization of it is a little much. But yeah, Seavoth, he had a huge opportunity there because of the fact that Kicks was still alive. There were 2 fights where he was able to creep up on the pillar, and they're looking at backside because they know there's a guy trapped there. He can't get out.
Dragon
Let's
like
take him down.
Aspas.
And even with the smoke up, that was where he was able to creep
Doing
through
the
and catch
Aspas.
that player looking the other direction. So again, just those dominoes falling from Kicks being able to survive. He did a great job. And again, top frag in the server. It's good to see him. One of the longest remaining members on this roster for Fnatic. Well, Kayak's been slowed down. He was 9-2,
Leia has
9-4
asked for
now.
a pause.
Both rounds
Wait, what?
Vitality have put up, have seen him by the wayside,
Oh,
whether
I
he's
mean-
out of the play or getting dealt with early on. So a great adaptation considering 3 rounds ago, we saw Vitality adapt. They had the right read. We know that we can make them push, but they weren't able to deal with the push. So now
the bathroom break. I mean, they make them go early.
Again, going back to some
they do ask you, is it going on?
Context of the match. There's so many stories to be had. Obviously,
some games are
sort of switching sides, but also seemingly the decision being more on Fnatic's front than his to go out of the team.
Antifon with the Prime. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Making it to that first Masters of the Year, getting into the top 4, and Fnatic not looking particularly good in that stage. It seems like they've come back swinging in stage 1.
We got
a
stacked day today.
As well,
really stacked.
The other thing as well is just on an organizational perspective. Vitality never having that victory. And let's be honest, if in the past, I think there was always a bit of a mismatch.
Even Americas is really stacked as well.
Having that huge amount of wealth of experience, but also every single one of these sort of talented young players, or stealing people from Gambit.
Left but right.
You're talking about
left but right with the Prime. Thank you for the 17 months. Thank you.
Their old coach was okay.
We're gonna watch Americas as well. Yeah, we're doing both.
Decent. So it's kind of one of the things where up until this point, I think the
expectation
was nearly always
I'm excited to see how Americas handle the TriCast.
I think this is the first time we come in where Vitality.
It might be absolute chaos, to be honest.
You look at them and you go, okay.
But Sean's done a lot of TriCasting before, so I think he'll go for the approach that people used to do in CS, where like he doesn't talk too much, and then he comes in every so often to talk about a round. Fred 543 with the Prime. Thank you so much, bro.
The pond to try and glue everything together.
Thank you for that.
And then you have that first success. So I think it's a huge sort of talking point. Luckily, you've heard all my spew, and now you get to go back to the desk, which has Yinsu on it. See, I'll say
you're going back to the desk. That's a rough start. That is really rough.
I mean, considering we're living
Ryan
in
Dawn
a
with the 10,
world
thank you, and Shipty with the 5 as well. Caramelx with the 20, and Pulse with the 10.
Nat's team, Apex
thank you very much.
Fluorescence team. I think it's about time that we rebrand this as Yingsu's desk. How do we feel? That's all right.
Yingsu's desk.
I'm putting myself up, you know, I'm on the same level as Floor, Nat, Durka.
I think that's agree with that. Live your truth.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah. Thank you.
Live your best life.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I am living my best life right now. And
Zach
so
in the YouTube chat.
Fnatic, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Struggling to be in the fourth is one of the worst feelings I have, so I hope everyone is doing well today. Yeah, not wrong, Zach. Thank you for doing that, dude.
Comes in from the side of Vitality, and we see a switch in things. They even take that opportunity, even though the buy is not the best, to actually take and make a little bit of use of those ultimates and just pivot into a very specific part of the map for them.
How should we do incentives today, chat? Every 1,000 we get, I donate 200.
I think that the direct hits have started to work for them, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, and you heard Tom talking about it. You know, oh, it's very skillful if you can kind of just take the moment to pause as soon as you get onto that site, which I think is what we're seeing so far, and you're kind of forcing Fnatic to flood back in.
Bukax with the 10. Thank you so much as well. Thank you.
Us to start seeing that.
I appreciate that.
The reason, though, Fnatic have started off so hot is winning that bonus round, which is so important.
I mean, if we get them up,
and Kakuga, they just seem to do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I mentioned this in the last test, but to me it's very surprising because this is one of the things that characterized Navi last year.
Wait, Sugar, why have you added that last bit on there?
Fnatic, they're 9-2 in
the Reykjavik VOD review at 10. Oh my goodness.
After they have won those 2 first rounds, the pistol and the anti-eco right after
Which one,
that,
though?
they have extremely
the final
high conversion rate. So
I can't do
when
Liquid
we
against
speak about
Fnatic.
Getting confident, going into a matchup, starting off strong, setting the pace.
Rewatch the Gambit Icebox game. That's
I think as well, we have to look at the buy that they're having in round 2.
We could do it.
To convert these round
that could be good.
Because a lot of the time we're seeing Kayak on the outlaw.
That's the that's the most painful game I've ever watched.
They're like investing quite heavily.
That's the most painful game I've ever been a part of.
Allowing them to have the success when it comes to converting that bonus round.
I can't believe
we could maybe get Yampy to do it with us as well.
Did you not hear what he said? He was like, at the beginning of the match, I always shoot. And he shouldn't. Wasn't he like 9-0 at some point?
Yeah, because Mosey's not allowed to do it. But, you know, God forbid Mosey sometimes
Did I watch BBL on Ascent? I mean, yeah, we watched it live.
But this is the... I don't know about you guys, but you can almost really feel the tension.
I think the Liquid did a lot of good stuff, but I think the BBL did a lot of bad stuff.
They're both being very disciplined.
They're warming up into
this game until Vitality became very explosive. And that is often the way that you beat Fnatic.
Human Man, thank you so much. Appreciate the 10. Jules77 with the 10 as well. And then Anon.
Kickoff, especially.
The Anonymous is coming with 100.
And, like, taking a lot of risks.
Thank you so
and
much,
I think
dude.
that Vitality now we're kind of
What are
leaning
you on,
into
9,
that a little
8?
bit more the past couple of rounds.
Yeah,
that
$5
we've
more
seen, that
dollars,
they're
I'll
trying to
give-
lean into
I'll give
being
20 right
direct,
now.
not just like, you know, looking around the map. Because Kayak was
Anonymous,
shutting them
thank
down
you.
so
Shan
often.
as well.
You've
Thank you
seen
so much,
the main
Shan,
push
with
where he
the
was helping
10.
set up
Thank you for
Bolster.
that.
You see it in every lane. So yeah, I think.
Where's my phone? If I need to do this, I
Yeah,
take my phone.
I think that Fnatic will have an answer for that at some point.
Yeah, and I think that thinking about today and the stakes,
I
we
believe in
expect
you
to see a
guys.
very
I'll-
evened out. I
I'll
think
do
we're
it, scan it
praying
now.
to go to Haven, not only because we want to see what happens with the compositions, and obviously the head-to-head would be amazing,
Yeah.
but I think that's what everybody is expecting. You want to see a Fnatic that is back in form, that can prove that they still have it, and for the side of Vitality, we know the expectations that
Oh my
they are
goodness,
there.
that's too
And
many
now
O's.
they have to face their first challenge. Yes, Fnatic has started off with the lead. Can they snowball that, or are you going to counter it?
What I like about the countering aspect is that they clearly know where Chronicle likes to play.
V
Ron
with the
has
25.
been in the
Thank you
game
so
for,
much,
what,
dude.
4
Thanks for doing
seconds
that.
each round. It feels like he's instantaneously dead. But let's see if Vitality can continue
Oh, we
this
back?
comeback we're seeing and send this back to, I guess, is it Mitch's cast?
I like Tom.
Yeah, Tom's cast. You can have that one,
Yeah.
Tom.
Submentos as well with the 10. Thank you
Yay.
so much, dude, as well.
All yours,
Thank you for
not
doing
bad.
that.
Been given this sort of power before, I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, well, I've released my iron grip for long enough. It's time to get back into the
Surely
game.
we're done with this.
5-2 to Fnatic, and you heard it on the desk. You know, they had that great start, winning the
Van
bonus, being
Silly
able
with
to
the
follow through,
100. My
then
goodness,
losing
Van Silly.
to the Thrifty as well. That's given Vitality a way back in. It would have been a much longer road facing down that 6-0.
Thank you.
in a
Got Sheaf
high-stakes
with the
buy
50
round.
as
Ult's
well.
coming online for
The
Fnatic.
Anonymous
Yeah, they used their ults
with
there.
the
That was
200
where
of
they
promises.
sank. It was the Nightfall and the
I
Showstopper as
honestly,
well.
I thought I
so,
put my name in. I
yeah,
probably
they've
forgot.
kind of, they
That's the
had
200 that I
opportunity
said I
for
would match.
a pretty
Van Silly, thank you
insanely,
so much
but the
for doing
response
that as
from
well. Sheaf,
Vitality,
thank
but
you
always
also.
felt like at some point they would find it.
Okay, let's
Thing
take the
is,
names
though,
off. Guys, thank
Fnatic
you
are
so
not
much. We're hitting
struggling
crazy
just
numbers
yet.
already.
This next round loss would put them in a bit more of a awkward spot, and you can see again just Durka trying to sell these fakes. The fight is going to be taken, and well, it's actually gone all right. I thought that Kayak wouldn't get anything from that, but finds an opener, gets some info.
This is nice from Vitality.
Now
That
Vitality have to find another
fighting
idea.
over towards B main, they've been. This is where everything's been going down in terms of the reaction from Fnatic. Let's have a little look at the money. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that can't buy next. Everyone's sitting real good on Vitality.
Floating around to potentially be holding that long range with the op. Vitality.
Don't think
Big
enough
idea
people are
is to
playing
have
Deadlock.
less play that
Counterpoint
late. No, I did think they would go
Talon.
through mid with him, but he goes back for the ultimate outside B.
I,
signaling that they've still got presence there, but the Prowler
That's savage.
from Crashies grabs him.
I started watching a little bit of the
He's still gonna be here
what's it called?
for the
Spike,
push onto the site, or so they think.
Spike
Push is
Point,
coming in
Spike
through
Talk,
heaven.
Spike
A lot of
something.
space taken by Vitality
The-
already.
oh boy.
X's
Oh wait, that's
lurks have
smart,
just
dude.
been
He's out here
so
crouching
good.
because he
And
knows
it
that he
comes
might
back
be
to
jump
Alpha,
spotting.
same position
Oh,
as
wait.
before, and they're not gonna clear
Oh
it.
god.
That's 2
Oh dear
for
god.
Fnatic.
Oh no. Oh god.
Not gonna forget that one in a while.
Yeah, the
It's so
camera
much
on that looked
time,
rough.
but
Oh wait,
unfortunately
Darker, come on now.
no, the round's not over yet.
Oh
Not even
god.
just wasting the bullets of one gun, but wasting the bullets of
Dude, he has the
And
Fnatic
this is what
spray
it's
as
like
well.
to face up against your
Well.
own teammate. You're gonna kick him while
God,
he's
it was
down.
on
What
Darker
did they
as
say on
well.
the desk earlier? Like,
It's
oh, you
actually on
think there's
Darker.
some sort of a rivalry, but it's all friendly on social media. This ain't social media.
Dude, they're all doing it. Dude, he dropped him another gun, so he has more bullets. Got 3 He's got 3 guns.
We're down to a classic, running out of ammo to dump
Dude, he's
into
still
the
going.
bodies. That is wonderful. And the post plan from Vitality.
Imagine
not
he
even
died-
gonna be
actually
challenged
died to the
poster,
spike.
Hearing all those shots. I
Dude,
was
if
gonna
it was
say he must be
fine
wondering
per
what's going
bullet,
on, but he knows Durka.
I mean,
I
he
think
would-
knows exactly
he'd
what
be
was
done
happening.
for.
That's a whiff that's going to sit with Alphayer for a long time.
Well, it's going to sit with him until he has a big round, which could be
One or
any
two.
moment.
5 minutes.
That's the one thing. I feel like there's some players that can get mentally boomed. And don't get me wrong, I feel like Alpha Year can be one
Is
of
there
them
a
at
fine? I
times,
don't think anyone's
but I
ever
also
been
feel like
fined,
when
but
he
there's
gets
definitely been a
fired
warning
up,
for it before. I
he
can't remember what
aces.
region it was in.
So I think that
I can't remember
maybe
if it
the
was a
frustration will
Masters
be
or if
there,
it was
but I
in a
also think if
region.
you get
Someone
this guy
definitely got a
annoyed,
warning for it.
he's going to come back
And then
and
it's
keep
kind of been
swinging,
silent
so-
since. And then everyone's just been spamming bodies.
I think you can tell which team people are supporting by the reaction there. Some sat back in their seats, some sat way forward. That was phenomenal stuff. Oh, Alphayer.
From Duck.
No, it was phenomenal from Alphayer. It was one of my favorite plays he's made.
Damn, dude, what the hell?
Not so much his. In that replay, I think we got to see it.
Still have a buy hit. Now, it's definitely not the best.
What was I saying about Spike Talk?
You got Judge. Potential for a Viper's Pip.
It seemed like they're...
She's going to be stuck down
when Frost was talking about the game,
as said, when it came to last
it seemed like there's a bit of a disconnect. I mean,
a
obviously
really
still
big
there's a
part
disconnect. He
of
speaks
them
a
being
different
able to
language
win.
to them.
Hasn't seen
But he was
the
like,
success
if I
just
knew
yet,
they were
but in his
gonna
early days,
play like this,
the
I
early
would
days of
I would
this
make him
map
use a
was
different comp.
5-0 start for Fnatic, and now it's starting to slip.
So I don't know. It feels like maybe he's now has to be a little bit more hands off because he doesn't have the American speakers. Must be weird.
I don't worry for a second that Les is
Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect there, for sure, if you look at what he said.
Back to middle. Spike's been waiting outside B the whole round. The intention has always been to end there.
Not a promising thing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was listening to it. I was like, it seems really like, I don't know, seems disconnected. Like hands off almost.
So far. Let's see if that continues. Gate crash going through to backside. Probably the same salvos we saw
and how does Boaster react to this?
No, in fact, just a dive.
Okay.
Oh,
Boaster's nice reaction on this one. Really, really late. We've got Omenot to back a site. No one really knows about it yet. Damn, Boaster and Kayak are actually dragging so heavy. Boaster's reaction to everything that was going on was great. He uses the, I call this the Sugar Zero smoke. That could be.
Zone flawless round on the board. And yeah, I think the salvos must have been used a little earlier. They weren't online.
Yeah, this one then just got in here early.
Almost adding an extra layer to it, using the fake gate crash, the fake TP, instead
nice
of
shots.
actually committing to it. But it didn't seem to cause any sort of a problem for Fnatic.
I'm pretty sure earlier when we had a replay for Boaster, he said, "Get me back on B." Well, I guess that's
13, 11, 5, 4, and 3.
A strong individual performance.
Okay.
Just been dope. Crashies decides to play ahead of the curve a little bit, and well, I guess you've seen Durka play for that ramp position so often. Just get up there and then retreat, teleport somewhere else on the map. This time he's punished.
It's a small risk of the walk up through heaven, but Boaster's just come in to fill that gap, so no real problems there for Fnatic. 3 players committed though to this half of the map, and then it sort of has to be. Puts a bit more pressure, perhaps, on Alphier. She's lined up. Engaged across. They lose heaven control. They can't hold it together. Have to instead split their gaze in both directions.
It's a little bit late, but
yeah, not quite going to land on the
you're
players that
all the way through B, getting pure info. Clears bottom middle, might clear the ult slightly. Yeah, clears the ult slightly. Locked him in over towards A pretty much right now. Look at the rotates.
The whole squad's essentially here.
Thing is, they don't know about the Yoru, right? The Yoru could be any of these question marks, so it's not like they can easily pivot out of here.
Back off the angle. Have the potential for some isolated duels. Les is looking for that gap once again. Alfia was forced forward by the utility, but they still don't seem aware. Not going to connect the shots, but his teammates have found everything they need.
And do they just
20 seconds
save?
Up and coming on the clock. No
Might
ground.
as well at this point.
No from the shadows. And honestly, it looks like no hope. I think this has to be a save now.
Yeah,
Mini Titans, thank you so much for the gifted, dude. Thank you for that.
He's not safe. Fnatic, they've got credits. They're going to go pushing forward, and more so than credits, they've got confidence. Kayak certainly does. 13 and 5, had a great game so far. Looks deep for the kill off of his flash. Ends up making it out alive, even though he missed the player in the corner. A big nice economy bolstering round for Fnatic, but with just 2 left, question remains. We've talked a lot about the attack side for both of these squads. Well, Vitality's got some ground to make up.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt. A 7-3, and a lot of the streaks of rounds we've seen from Fnatic have been very dominant, very clean as well. So you're having a lot of finances going into the next few rounds. But I also really like the fact that even though you're talking about
how does Zelsis play middle? Like a lunatic. Everyone else plays middle, like in these 2 boxes. No joke, he will spend 80% of his time in this box.
Much more so than before, and we see the same
he uses the smoke like it is a cove, like bullets can't go through it.
Trying to find a gap.
A little bit less so now, leaving the A site a little bit more open. They still have a cam and a trap, but it's the fact they're not waiting for that aggression.
Ooh, that's nice,
it's a B main spot and mid where they still had numbers. They catch off Kayak.
Okay, instant reaction once again from Fnatic. We've been pointing out the whole time. We've got a Prowler over towards A. Spots the trip here. And they actually take B main again.
B seems like an easy target. Chronicle's the only one standing in the way, and he gets
caught
by the
Boaster, you got to do a madness. Nice shot.
Operator retreat.
Ooh. Hold up.
And Seavoff is gone. Boaster predicted where his opponent was coming from, and more importantly, he's been able to hold on to B main.
Yeah, and his pressure alone is everything. Boaster? No, I mean, he looks incredible right now.
So deep into the round, big push by Vitality.
Yeah, they know.
Don't commit it though. It's half
Oh
committed.
boy.
Zerka even caught with his knife out. Luckily kicks filled back
It was
into
all a
space
bait. It was
and
all
covers
planned.
his retreat. A double
Kinda.
pickup. And they know that Boaster is coming
The
from
raid
B-main.
boss
They've
himself,
certainly
though.
heard the steps now
No
confirming the
time.
rotate didn't come through. And
Let's get try and build
again
up.
from in
Dude, he's
heaven,
14 to
surprise.
2 though.
Vitality, they were really slipping behind in this series, at least in those first 5 rounds. It looked scary.
Yo
but
Morty, thank you so
looks
much
like
for the
they're right back on
25
the
on
horse here.
Appreciate the tier 1.
Yeah, I really like the mid-rounding from Vitality. You had the realization that, okay,
Hope you feel
they're
better
trying to
soon,
get
Morty.
aggressive towards B
That's a
main.
shame.
They're going to expect
Sonya,
us
by
to-
the way,
now
thank you
we've
for the 2
got a
gifted
kill
as
to
well.
go
I
in that
missed that.
direction. Let's take mid control. Let's find
Thank
the
you,
gap
thank you.
elsewhere. They get the pick onto Chronicle.
With the
And even when they lose those sort of aggressive positions in B main, they go, okay, well, we need something else. Let's take spawn control. Let's fight the rotators to make sure that Fnatic don't get to just surround us. It's smart stuff in the mid round, and while Fnatic in this case weren't able to cope.
The Boaster might be having the best
Yeah.
half of his life. 14
we spoke about this,
You are done
chat.
and dusted
We
here,
spoke about
Chronicle,
this
between
where
the salvos
you
and
can't
the
play
Armageddon. There
here
was
against
no
the
way out of there.
AWOL.
Caught, and it's a dangerous
It's
position
like
to play. Once that
like
ult
a
is online, you
strict
see
rule
exactly
that
why here.
teams kind of have to
That's
discover
thing,
the hard way.
once
It's
the
looking
ult's
like
online, you either have to just gamble that you can rotate out
yeah,
fast
it's like
enough,
a
or just
Brimall
hope they leave a
lamps
gap, but
is how we
you
compare
also
it.
don't just want to give up
Because
that
you
fence
can't get
control
out this way,
completely,
especially if they do it
because
left to
then your
right, and then it
opponent
forces
will
you
walk
out
up
into the
on you.
open.
And even if they
So
don't, just putting a cage for your heaven is going to leave
it
you
is
with
one of
doubts
those ults that
in your A heaven
it's
for the rest of
very,
the
very
round. So
strong.
it's just not a good idea to leave it open. I agree, but there's the risk. The reward for Vitality.
Speaking of ults,
Rolling
these two are about to
Thunder
tank this.
online for this
Boaster
B-side taken. Look
has
where they
had
are.
his ult pretty much the whole game, but hasn't
Repositioned
really had
slightly
a good
by
chance to
Crashes. He
use
can
it.
avoid maybe provide a little bit of cover as they
Oh,
step
that tether
out.
is
In fact,
incredible,
if he
by the
gets
way.
Z's down, that's going to slow them.
Boaster's in the
CP to
weirdest
backside, Dirk is
pause
stuck, and
ever.
they know, though. They've
Oh,
seen this
Fade
before.
eye to swing
Catching it.
through.
Great reveal
Damn,
that
look
would
at
have forced
Boaster
the
go,
hand.
bro.
Boaster on the double crashes. Can't hold on, though.
It's
They're able to
incredible.
recover the
They look
site.
so good. It was
Getting
nice
across
util.
with the
Great shot
spike
as
is
well.
another challenge.
Dude, they look
Kayak's
great.
back up in heaven. Almost takes safe out.
peek
the
off the
shot
Fade
whizzing
eye.
past his ear. 15 seconds. Last round. No time to save. He's got to swing in, but
Dang,
that means
Kayak's just got the
crossing
angle.
the operator of Kayak, and he's hit the shot
Yeah.
anyways.
He's always going to see him first. Nade. Oh my god, he's absolutely sent it.
The blast
Oh
back
boy.
won't do it either. Safe's gotten away with it. The salvos. It's a
It's
bold play,
Salvo
and no one that will work out in his favor.
Okay,
He's
dude,
trying to sell
sick
the idea that
half,
he'd gone
man.
somewhere else, try and bait his opponent,
Boaster
but
was
unfortunately,
incredible.
Alfio was just that little bit too quick. A really nice round. I think mainly the utility that came out from Crashies was absolutely fantastic. The fake on the reveal, the use of the C's as well. Superb round to set up his teammates. Of course, though, that is only the first half, Mitch. We'll be back after the break.
iPad, yeah, not what I recommend.
Nice, Alfia. Holy shit, I'm good as well.
Okay. Damn, that was a lovely half from them. Even their just reactions as well. Their reactional pushes were really, really nice. Chat, let me mute this for a little bit. Do a little check-in with what's going on. Dude, I might have missed some here as well. Do we have Joe with 100, Aquarial with 100, Alisuni, Flexley, Anonymous, Janny, Nolod with a 10, and another Anonymous with 100. That's insane. Again, for every 1,000 we reach, I will put 200 there. So almost up to the 2,000 mark. Thank you so much, everyone who's getting involved. Thank you, thank you. Missed a 200 from an Anon as well. Damn, dude. Thank you so much, whoever that is. So much, guys. Hitting crazy numbers. Dude, I thought when I did the 10,000 it was way too ambitious, but honestly, you guys are kind of crazy. That's my 200? No, someone said another 200. So maybe not.
On the board for Fnatic. After a 5-0 start, though, hell of a recovery from Vitality. They really pulled up their boots. And now it's time to take the long run back into the lead. 4 rounds in a row. It starts with the pistol, but
honestly, it might be
some factors for Vitality.
There's a good chance it might be.
I
need to pay more attention to website and put my name on next time.
16-4, and Kayak was on a 9-2 start, not ending that badly with a 2 KD. That's not the half that Vitality would have envisioned.
Yeah, no, I saw a sign out in the crowd that said they may have Durka, but we've got Kayak, and honestly, in this map so far,
at the moment,
Kayak has definitely been the better of the two. Of course,
it's valid.
You have to look at the way that Durka was playing.
Dude, this would be such a good game if they can win this map.
Fakes, trying to push into certain spots on the defense.
Oh, that's a dink, by the way.
Got to be hopeful he can get a little bit more done and more kicks. Already going to be starting things off with a bang. Kayak is gone. There is a walk up in the meantime coming into
a lot of pressure over towards E-Heaven. In reaction, they're managing to get over towards site. And does Bolster lose the spike here?
Yeah.
No. He's out.
Come blitzing through. Late play by Crashies is being spotted. Making it out of here, not quite so easy. Tucked in the corner.
Wait.
But the fire from down below.
The 3v5.
The kill feed.
It's like Crashies is a human decoy again. They kind of tunnel vision a little bit. They take a lot of damage, got a few kills, and then there's a lot of 1v1s.
Just seconds away from seeing that work. Oh, he's caught him off
guard. Man, that is beautiful though.
Leaving it down to Crashies to
lovely
do it all,
jump
and they've
spot as well.
him too. What a round from Les already. With 35 seconds left, there's still time for Crashies to... Well, they're not behind him in main. That's what he was clearing there. So great information at least. Knows where both are.
Okay, nicely handled from Les. Yeah, a little bit rough from Crashies. I'm not sure it would have changed too much.
A pistol round that was definitely in danger.
Yeah, I always find that with Les.
I thought he was gonna like fade out on rafters and swing left.
He's gonna get his one. He's gonna be lurking in the back. Maybe finishes off someone as they're trying to like wrap back around. But it feels like
I'm telling you, he's one of the best to watch on this map.
Much of him in that first half, and then you get into the second half and you remember who he is. It's where you're walking into his setups where he's rotating back in, and well, in this it was just the perfect timing and quick reactions to pick off a double. Vitality now.
Dude, you see the observer just looking at it instantly like, what the?
Fnatic walking away. 10-4 potentially in the lead.
The hero Bucky.
He's going to do some real work, which it might.
3 HP, by the way. That's so unlucky.
We're a pixel closer to him. Who knows? Les again.
Christ,
it's the
same
old story.
See what I mean now?
Yeah. Yeah, that has nothing to do with setup or utility. This is just Les. Oh, he got popping heads eventually. Down
Dude, imagine he wins this.
He got 3. Yeah, the man only has a classic. This is always the thing when I feel like you watch Chronicle. You just see stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. And now, with a gun in hand, a Bulldog, the same as his opponents, one of them even tagged, and it's Chronicle. He has a chance.
But the shots don't land. Not in his favor this time.
Good damage. Really good damage.
Vitality to take this round across the line, but I think it's fair to say they took a few more blows than they meant to in this one. It's going to be a bit more costly.
Dude, you can't blame that one on me.
Especially with Les.
Don't
the guy who had
me.
basically nothing invested coming through and just picking them apart up in heaven. The fact that Chronicle gets away with that, following up with another, and of course it was Les, injured from so much of that combat, and the same thing for Safe.
With a bookie on me. What a good boy.
A Bucky and a snake bite. Yeah, Safe hasn't had a fun round.
I think Les already has the same amount of
Buki.
this half as he did the last. And it's not because he was particularly bad, it's just that he's got 2-3 Ks in the first 2 rounds. We'll see if that's a continuing trend. It does mean, I was going to say, there's not the best of purchases, but that's not the start
a big reaction as well.
A few spam shots that Sivov has walked into. But there is still the aggression.
Yeah, it's an incredible start to the round from Fnatic.
Getting out of this spot can
Vitality wanted to go for some mid punish.
Crash, at least for now.
Fake teleport. It's used as a fake, but another goes out. Drone heard inside of B main. Information for Fnatic that right now Vitality should be rotating, should be expecting this to be an A hit.
Safe just picked up the rifle as well, so that has been retrieved.
The numbers will be ready for this A push.
I mean, Les has double kill trip camera if they pivot over towards heaven. I think he saw 2 with the camera and the prowler. Like, there's a chance he spotted all 3 here.
Look at where Boaster is, still sitting outside that B site. We could easily see a wrap back through the vents to try to meet him.
Okay, well, it all comes down to Safe here.
Would be Safe. So his hold up in heaven, and that's exactly what's happening. Safe's hold is so important here. He's just missed Boaster, stepping through that angle. He might catch him here.
Oh my god, the timing is so nuts.
He's being caught instead, and now the door is wide open for a plant.
And that timing couldn't be any better. That was the
Do
one
they
sort of
get close and
saving
less
grace
ults to the body,
this
or
position is having
do they
Safe
ignore the ult
potentially
because
be
they
able
have
to
to be
cut them off
close
on the
anyway?
rotation. Him going down,
Dude,
it
as
is
we can
just
see, the ult of the body would
yellow
actually
brick
reveal a
road.
lot.
all the way back to the B site. Still with a lurk left in middle, so something that has to be wary from the defense. And a lot that they need to find here.
Oh, that was close.
Goodness, that was close.
Just off by a little. And
Yeah,
that
Durka
would've really
checks
bridged the
everywhere
gap for Vitality.
but this corner.
Chronicle hasn't been spotted. Taking a leaf out of Les's book.
Okay, I think they got him through the smoke there.
Spur them forward, but also gets Chronicle to make his play. The dagger in the back, and now
Time is
they don't
incredibly
know how
low.
they can go forward, constantly worried about that backstab. Les, one to swing out first, does damage to Chronicle. Or Crashies, I should say. Chronicle still up in heaven and may need to hurry up. Catches one,
Okay,
kicks
it's really
with 2,
nice,
but
man.
it's not enough. Too many bodies
This little luck from
Fnatic,
Boaster
and
really
Chronicle's
opened up the
work paying
options. They
off
did go
dividends.
down there, so it came at a
How
cost.
costly that was.
Yeah,
That
it
was
came
a
at a price.
4v5. You dropped
They
the
might
player
even eco this
immediately,
after winning
and
the
now
rounds.
you've ended up with none of your players surviving. You're going to have to drop down to the light shields immediately. I can see on the scoreboard, Durka has bought up the Outlaw. They're looking to go farming. So, considering it was a bonus, okay, it had a few rifles in there that maybe they would have wanted to try and win, but I think the damage is honestly
First time someone
enough.
checked me.
And also, you have to talk about Vitality in that round being a little bit
First
unlucky.
time someone
Safe
checked me in
being
that
caught. He
pause.
checked that spot moments ago. Durka being caught, checking that spot moments ago. I think they could be relatively
Okay, they decide
happy
to
with that
force
round,
into
even
it.
if it's annoying.
They're missing like a little bit of util, but not too much. As we can see the Outlaw go crazy right now. Durka has got one.
If they can get that pit down,
Oh, what a
there's
shot.
lot of trouble for Vitality, but Sivov able to pick off the first. It's already TP'd into the back of the
Damn,
site,
nice
but
decision.
he's not got any real opportunities, barely avoiding the breach utility.
Dude, how do they
Taking
even
a
get through
big,
the
heavy
smoke?
Tag down to 45
that, I guess.
HP. Good pickup by Durka, and they thought the kayak had left. They thought the utility had cleared him out, but he gave his position away. Boaster on 8 is the last
very,
man
very
standing,
nice.
and he won't
Money's
stand
in
any
the bin.
longer. Vitality.
Like actually in the bin. I'm not even sure anyone on Fnatic has over 2,000 here.
This is looking like the game is
Can
far
get real
from
close.
over, even on their defensive side.
The crazy thing is, I feel like Sivov started this one off with like the craziest game of aim training you've ever seen. It's like,
Kayak,
okay,
he's just trying to be
I gotta
more of a
pick up the
distraction
prowler,
for
shoot the
everyone.
guy, jump in, I go spin around, try and shoot
Like
the wall,
all these,
and
so
still
basically,
survive all of it.
But I thought
It just manages to do it.
I didn't.
he thought he TP'd out, but he didn't. So Kayak,
I love the face. It's
Kayak
like, okay,
doesn't want to commit too heavy here because as soon as he goes down, then this is now an angle that everyone on B main needs to go at, like be scared of. Because at the moment over towards B main it's a 50-50 duel here, right? Right, them just facing here is a 50-50 through the smoke basically, kind of. They don't have to pre-aim anywhere else because he's covering the middle of the site. But if he commits, goes down before they go down, then they go into a crossfire. It's done round.
They're losing a lot of players to
I get why people are critical of Kayak there, but
an obscure
he has to
angle.
just stay
I don't
alive.
think I've
His
ever
pressure
seen
is
a
more
scope
important
that
than
far
just like
zoomed
coming
in
into
on
a duel.
something. I feel like that's like when someone has to read with like a magnifying glass. Like you're a little bit too close to that one. But it's Durka. Still managed to hit the shot.
What a
Spike
weird
found.
round.
Know where
We
that's
found like
gonna be,
double
and unfortunately
space.
Any lurks, any sneaky plays. are
Oi,
getting
oi,
picked
don't do
apart.
it. Dude, he
I know
wanted
for
the
a fact
knife.
Durka for a moment was like,
Durka's
I'll
on an
knife him, and
absolute
then realised,
mission today.
maybe not in this round. Maybe not when I could throw my gun to an opponent. And when 2 of my teammates have light shields.
That's the other thing, right? Only Les could have taken a blast from that Outlaw. It's got 2 barrels. Alfier, he's walking into heavy traffic. Les was there.
Nice. I'm a
I don't
little
think
bit
he'd
worried from
expect Sivov to
Fnatic.
be
I
in
imagine the
position
coaches are
either.
too, and they'll time out
9 to
here.
8.
They have
One
a
round between them
they have a good
for
ults.
Vitality.
They
That's
got
gotta
Fade
feel
ult,
like
they
a real
got
olive branch being extended.
Astra ult.
The fact that they came in slow to start, and even the fact that they found that, what was it, a full thrifty round. They had like 4 classics and a sheriff and ended up picking up their first that way. That's given them these foundations to build on and be so close to the score of their opponent. Close enough that Fnatic start to panic.
It's an important
calling
one.
a timeout here.
I think the rough thing for Fnatic was, of course, having that round victory, but one that you have no players surviving. So the thing's becoming
Wait, this is a crazy
costly.
round, to be honest.
And then
Fade
a lot
or
of the aggression hasn't really worked out.
Fade
Even
or
the
Viper
sort of
or
classic
Astra
B-side
or
combo where
there's
you have,
Cypher,
like,
Teo,
to the back of the site, and then you have the
and then
run
one
through.
away as well. You got
Quite
Yoru.
easy for Sivov to isolate a duel and still get out of there because
There's
of
a lot of stuff that
counter-utility
might
was being
go on
thrown
here.
in. I think Kix, as always, has been doing an excellent job of...
So if
at
I'm
least making
Vitality
fights
here and I'm in this
okay,
timeout,
may have forgotten to
honestly,
calm
I'm
the Kayak
saving
there,
these
but he did a
ults,
lot of damage to him
not
and
using
made
them in
sure
this
that he
round,
couldn't fight
trying to
Sivov
do
in the
damage, trying to
initial
win the
battle.
round
Forgive him because he was
with like
pretty
them
certain
using
that
their
he'd
ults
pushed him out
and
of
then
the
just
position.
reset them next round.
Util.
That's personally what I'd be saying here.
you know?
Look, I would actually ask
He's
him to not
busy.
use the ults.
You want to breach it, does calm things. No, but obviously it's a flash in the pan. Good to see as well.
It's
during
very
that timeout,
situational,
you've got
but
Scud
like I
from
wouldn't do
Milan,
anything
someone
like
that for a
straight
long
away
time
off the
I think
rip of
we've desired
ults.
seeing in that head coach position. Done a lot of work for a lot of teams behind the scenes, and obviously we've seen him in the assistant coach spots, but him getting his
They
chance,
have so much money they
especially
can
at a team
buy
like
again.
this,
They throw the Outlaw away
I
and
think
get
that's
the
a chance
op.
that he will let fumble anytime soon. 9-8, one round between them. Fnatic, they've got their full buy. They've got some ultis to work with as well. Still waiting to see Crashies once they get the site, put that Viper's Pit into play. And
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense they want to go aggro because they're up
the
against
pit
a
or
lot of
not.
ults though.
I think he was literally like a few milliseconds away from getting a collapse. Like they lined up perfectly for Durka, but his opponent was quicker on the trigger. Now look to continue that space. That's the thing. Look at where the rest of the players are though. They are spread across the map. You've got a deep hold towards B, and okay, sure, Kayak's taking space.
Vitality has 3 here.
Viper
You
screen,
would
but
expect them to go aggro.
I think they're just going to leave him in position because the defense have
They
rotated
might have.
heavily here.
They
And I
might
thought,
realize
okay,
that
maybe you'd look
after
at the
Fnatic get a kill, their
ults,
tendency is
see,
to
like,
just
from the
wait
shadows,
for a
there's a
push,
chance for a
and
quick
then maybe one of them be
rotation.
pushing
It's
at
not
like
that. They are
45 or
fully
just gamble
reliant
stack.
on less to
Don't
hold
really
on
know
to
what
B if
they've
they
done
go
with their
that way.
research.
And honestly, I'm okay with it.
I can understand
Okay,
it.
no
Yeah, you
pressure,
play
and
the
they had
retake if
a
needed,
fake
and with the
TP or a
ults that they
TP
have,
back, and
why
it's
not?
looking
And
like...
it's less.
And it's
What are
less.
they doing?
Indeed. But of course, Rolling Thunder almost being online, but
Okay, Fade ult
even
goes
the
in.
stun from Breach alongside
How many
Salvos
ults
and an
does
Armageddon
Fnatic
can
use?
easily turn the tide
Nightfall's
of a
giving the
site
game
take.
away though.
20
And the
seconds,
rotation's
double kill
coming in,
trip
but
on
it's
site.
surely not. They're taking a while to get to backside, actually. They'll be here on time to
Yeah, I got
potentially
Salvos.
disrupt that plan, depending on utility.
Teo ult
with 12
goes in.
seconds
God,
out.
it's going to
That's
be
not ideal.
really
Here
low
comes the
time to
Armageddon,
plant.
10 seconds
Crashy's
on
got
the
a time
clock.
as
We're
well.
down to the last chance. The plant needs to be stuck.
The
If they can
Tev is
interrupt,
incredible.
it could
The
change
Tev is
game, but
incredible,
they're not
man.
there on time.
Crashies.
And the full
Oh,
stick is
boy.
cancelled.
Dude, I didn't think that was going to hit him.
Huge piece of utility.
Kicks,
They
man.
have made a mistake
Kicks with the
that
util.
very same util before, but this time
It looked
the
like it wasn't
aftershock
going to
hits
hit him,
hard.
but...
I
Huge,
wonder if
man.
he calmed that one.
Well, they timed that one perfectly.
I've got him. That is just
Like Durka, he's
brutal
behind the
on
box.
timing.
Dude, it's such a
thing,
weird
little bit
round. This
slow.
like it's such
The
a hard
Nightfall gave the game away. Yeah, as said, that was an
such a
almost
hard
guaranteed
ult usage for
collapse.
that.
But it was the aftershock. Just held
yeah,
it
it's
for
so
the
nice.
last few seconds. That is literal
Such a hard round to
perfect
Vitality to
timing
work out
coming
like
of
when they
Kicks.
should
And
be
as
using their
said,
ults,
he's someone
if
that
they
is
should
just
be using it. But this was like
incredibly
perfect.
Intelligent player when it comes to this
I mean, they
initiator.
all played this really
9-9,
smart though.
scoreline equalized.
Safe's ult was perfect,
Weaponry
and then
now,
it was
bit of
like
an issue.
salvos
Ultimates.
into ult as well.
Either online or getting
He delayed
close,
so
other than the one that
much.
was utilized in the last round. And while Durka's already going to kick things off with a pick.
He died because he turns. Now he was done no matter
On
what.
the guns as well, right? Yes, Kayak's just picked it up.
That last coming down to the wire, putting Vitality neck and neck, putting the economy ahead for them. This is huge. Yeah, the damage done to Kayak is massive. Again, that Viper's Pit still online for Fnatic. In a round like this, you'd love to have it. But with Chronicle picked off early, that option completely
The
gone.
Astral,
And
yeah, it
with
might have helped them
a
there to
lot
take
of the
the
hope
space.
for this
They
round
would have to have
fall
done a
into their
deeper
hands.
one, because if
Alfia,
you had done it like the
one of
ult
those
here,
rifles
they're just
fighting
util
solo.
spamming you.
Not
I
able
guess they
to
wouldn't be
find
able to
a
hear the
result,
time
very
to
quickly
plant.
turns
But
tail from mid. They're going to group up. Maybe we'll even see, like, Kayak 6 HP with the Vandal. It could go to someone else. Boaster's been having a good game. Let's see.
Group up first. Well, Safe maybe getting a little bit more information than he bargained for. Takes a tag. Solid paranoia. Sivov decides to delay instead, and with those salvos, again, that clock is being burnt dangerously low. I think Vitality are doing a great job at cycling that utility and just making these fights so
the Boaster
incredibly
1+ on
awkward.
Fake
Back
does
they go
keep
towards
3
the
over
A
towards
side.
B.
Durka homed in with the sniper.
Whoa,
bomb.
hold up.
He gets taken out by Alfia. He You mentioned that
10
rifle,
seconds.
it's still in hand again. They need to cross to the
Oh
side.
my
They
god,
just
Alpha.
about spot out safe in the
Oh my
last
god.
second. Alpha
He was
used
just gonna
revenge
kill
from what was that previous
the
half.
spike.
And now even has the showstopper.
Buys a lot of
Nobody-
time as well.
He's
Okay,
trying
he
to
may be
facing, but shoots it
overstepped.
a little early. That gives
Yeah, he
Seaboff
may
a
be
chance.
overstepped. He maybe probably should be playing for time
That's
there.
tough.
But
Showstopper, even just to
he
buy
did get
that
him into this
extra time,
situation,
but as
so I
soon
can't
as
be
it's
too
fired
mad.
off, they know they've got an opportunity, capitalizing on it. Rolling Thunder goes through to the backside, heavy pressure, putting these players now mostly stuck here. Boaster's playing post plant, but you can't run down that much time with the Stars. He needs to pick off a few.
Body
In
block?
fact, they're even blocking the Star as the grab well comes in, trying to get that little bit of extra space.
Okay,
although it
nicely
won't work
handled
out.
though.
Kills go
It's
their
a shame
way,
Alpha
with plenty
like
of time on the
wanted
clock,
and
so
lost
too
it
does the
all within the
round.
space
10
of
to
10
9.
seconds.
Vitality started this out 5-0 down, and they've just taken the lead on a side where we expected them to put up less rounds. Well, that's certainly not been the case so far.
No, and I think as well, this was a really good recovery. Like after what was, I think a fantastic start to the round, it was basically just a sandwich. The middle of it went Fnatic's way, where
Yeah,
they were
look how
able to
easy
get
they
in
handled
late,
this.
they were able to find a pick, they were able to get a showstopper, but that's maybe the slight overheat. Like I understand it. You wanted to make sure that your teammate was safe while planting, so you try and get aggressive, but the second it is fired, an immediate swing from Seavoff, good read on his opponent, and then having that rolling thunder to get them back into the site, courtesy of Kicks having again, a sublime game. And again, you look at the scoreboard at the moment, and I would say it's somewhat the unusual suspect.
Been a bit of a
Kicks at the
masterclass
top
on
of the
defense
board,
there as well,
Boaster at the
but
top
from
of the
both
board.
teams really.
I don't think too many people would have called that
Where
coming
did Fader
into this
come as a
map.
coach
We've
before?
seen before that Breach have a
TSM,
field
I'm
day
pretty
on
sure.
this map in particular. So many tight laneways for you to individually use your utility, but especially when you're coming in with a Breach Tejo combo, I sort of expect it to be safe being the highlight, taking advantage of all those pieces of
Or he
utility.
just sat back on the map somewhere, just activating stuns for whoever needs
Exactly,
it, like
right?
the old
Like,
DRX style.
That's
Why does
usually what
Zelsis
you're
not
gonna
get
be
punished and made
relegated
after
to,
playing like
but
a
Kicks has
lunatic?
had a real
He did
fingerprint on most of
he
these
did a few
rounds, and for
games, not many.
Vitality, it's been
I
a
mean,
saving grace. If he's a little
he's-
quieter, Fnatic are in the
he-
lead.
he's
and
just got
probably about
great
to close
timing
out
of
this map,
everything.
but instead,
Like he
Fnatic's
does
map pick
play
now under
in
heavy
positions where he
threat.
can't be
We see
spammed a lot of
pauses
the time,
called by them
but
as well to try to combat this, but
you'll
the
see,
momentum
it is a
carries on in
masterclass.
favor
I
of
do
the
think the teams
defense.
don't do it enough
That's
against
now
him.
6 out of 7 rounds in this half. Move on to the next,
Is this
where
a Viper
again
smoke
the credits are
in middle?
very low for Fnatic.
So correct me if I'm wrong, I think Kayak was 14-7.
Accurate at the
He's now
halftime.
Yeah, it's,
14-14.
The smoke, the
So
double
it
blocks
has been-
vision, so
He's been
it's harder to hold
silenced.
mid.
Like, that's it. He's been silenced. And again, we mentioned
Okay,
it
so
when
that's
we
their big
talked about
change up. That's their
Durka
big switch
and
up at the
his need
moment.
to almost teleport into risky
But
areas.
gotta look over towards Vitality and Durka.
Now we're seeing the
Loving
other
the
side of it.
smoke
It
isn't
can be
over
rough
towards
to be a
heaven
Yoru
now.
on
Can
the
kind of just
attack.
hold the line over towards A on his own.
Is though Durka now has the operator and the dimensional drift. The same can be said for the other side with the dimensional drift at least, and a Viper's Pit. Something to get them in and something to hold on.
Yoru all
immediately.
middle. Spots an Omen. TP over towards A. Doesn't see Durka. Dude, Durka's timing here is incredible.
Durka thins the herd, and again, a round where Chronicle wants to put that all
No
into
way,
play.
the timing of this is
Kayak
nuts.
with a risky maneuver, but they needed to recover
Alpha might have to
something on
save them
that push.
again.
Unfortunately, it's left them in a really tough
Oof.
spot.
3
5v2
bullets?
now, it's safe, taking down Alpha here. And Crashy's hold as he might. He's separated
Damn,
from his
look at him
teammate.
go.
He's all alone, and you can't hold all those angles. Not when Vitality are flooding back in. It feels like there's a couple rounds now where we've seen Fnatic
It's a
want to make it to a
masterclass in
site.
defense again.
The Chronicle just gets eliminated
There was,
immediately. You lose
there's
your
a
wall,
little
you lose
bit
your
of-
post-plant ability. Even if they got site control, and he was still one
There's
of
a
the
little bit of
members
teamwork
moving in
that
there,
could maybe
Pit
be
goes
slightly better
down,
on
and
Fnatic
you've got
with
a
some of
real
these
chance.
rounds.
You can divvy up the
But-
map a little bit easier, but they have been stopped at the word go every time.
10 seconds left.
It's definitely impressive. Again, you're looking back to a lot of the
What
victories
was
that
the
we've
score
seen
at
out
half?
from this
Yeah,
Vitality squad.
8-4.
It was sort of reliant on heavy attacks. You go back to maybe the loss they had to T1 on Split. It was because they had a poor attack side. This time, though, it's almost looking like they're one of their first games when they play versus Foot, an 11-1 defense. Well, maybe that's where we're going, because there's only been one round in this half.
Does Fnatic lose when both the top frags? Pretty much, yeah. It does seem to be a common trend. You get the odd game where they just stomp teams, but that's a while ago.
Doing great work to recover. Now with the wind at their back, confidence flowing.
Reach 2K? Damn, dude. Yeah, we're checking in a sec.
I don't know. I think there needs
We're
to be something
getting towards the
drastic
end of
change
this.
for Fnatic if they're going to be able to take this map home.
decent enough investment from Fnatic. They'll still have mostly credits for the next, and any weaknesses can maybe be bolstered down by a site take with a pit going down. But with Chronicle's first deaths so far, not sure that that's something you want to build a plan around. Vitality have done very well at being disruptive, whether it's Durka getting aggressive for those early picks.
I think the salvos as well from Safe. Like, we're used to him, go back a year or two, just first man in taking battles, but I think his salvos have been so disruptive. A good start though, that's less down, and a lot of the time that's a solo anchor. You can see Alfia is going to try make a move off of it. The stun is perfect. The supportive util for Boaster, and then the swing from Kayak.
Yeah, that's worked out wonderfully. I think a little bit whiffy up in heaven before the stun landed, but gets there in the end. Well, gets there in the end for Alfia.
They should be doing damage.
9
no matter what, they should go do
turning
damage.
into 10, most likely. And the question for Safe and Durka is
you
whether
wanna
they go
kind
for
of
it. They've
do
got
it
credits to throw
where you're
at
not
this
just
one,
giving them
but
free
in a
kills. Safe would
2v5,
love
it
an
just
ult as
feels
well.
wasteful, especially when you want to build up as many opportunities to contest in rounds as possible with this kind of a lead.
They've op. They might not want to give them the op,
as we
but
said, soon to be
at the
won.
very
Chronicle
least, Safe
up,
should be sending
trying
it.
to catch these players off. Again, the economy of Fnatic, because of the investment they made here, being a little middle and keeping credits over for the next, they can afford to take risks, especially if it comes at the cost of
that worked out incredibly well. One away from Fatal now as well. Everyone's surviving, so the money's good from Fnatic, even if they do get insta reset here.
Well, that's the first round this half that feels repeatable.
Yeah, what?
Out of 2.
The first one they won with players alive. But that, then, an in-zone flawless, meaning that you come out with everybody standing. It is going to help them, especially if they were to slip up anywhere along these last few rounds
Really nice
before
shot,
overtime.
Alfia. Really nice shot, Alfia.
Boaster, I think, trying to build the confidence back up. We mentioned Alfia having that whiff early in the game, having a few moments that are not very Alfia-esque. But a decent one when they needed it most. Durka looking to respond in kind. He still had his ultimate for a while, another get out of jail free card, but instead this time the gate crash will be enough.
Yeah, every single time Fnatic win a duel over towards B main, that's been the round they've won so far. We had the kill from Alpha in B main, we had the Boaster luck.
You can see the idea here for Fnatic, almost playing against themselves when they were on the defense, playing for mid control and looking on the extremities for any sort of aggression, but Vitality aren't taking a bite of that. They're happy with this more passive mid control, so they're not actually losing anything, therefore they don't have to react. And especially with the A-site solo hold from Les and Cam up in heaven, they have so much information right now.
I mean, it's good info though, he saw 2.
Something like that would just be an unnecessary risk. We'll ignore that PC utility. Although I did
time is really low. They're just taking mid at 40 seconds.
Left, and they haven't really
they
moved
really got to send it once they get over towards Vans.
Map control that you get.
As we can see, picking the right site.
Get back control of the vents.
Kill trip. Lesser's double cage.
30 seconds left.
KO.
Why
does this feel a little bit like the B round that happened?
The top goes
oh,
out.
that is
opening onto Les, and that's exactly what he finds. He actually had the spike as
that
well.
Is incredible, though.
Through over the top for him to get that.
He spotted him on the double
exactly
satchel in as well.
A man advantage as Vitality are looking to challenge.
Yeah, they're looking to commit to this. Understandable indeed. You've highlighted
it might have been an attack from the Fade Eye also before that, I think.
Chronicle's contact as they move up through heaven. They'll be trying to.
Yeah, the security on this round is just crashes.
Spot the info.
It's very, very hard to win from Vitality in this.
In goes the stun. The backside push commences 5 seconds until salvos. We can't wait for them. It's time to take ground here and now. Fnatic need this round, and Alpha seems content to lock it in with kicks down. They might almost retreat. The time is too far gone. They've caught Crashy, sure, but it's a consolation prize.
They saved the op.
The round will still go to Fnatic. Viper's Pit still there.
Where's the
Chronicle's
ults?
had it for a while. 11
we got
to
Yoru
11. Neck and
ult.
neck. We're going the
We
distance
got
on this
Razor.
map,
We
one
still
way
got
or
Chronicles.
There is a reason. I always am hopeful that this map ends up as the third, as it always seems to give some
Really handled this so well.
This one has been a contest throughout. As I said though, that was integral from Alfia. I do like, again, the way that Safe is utilizing those Armageddon ults, but he was the one sort of blink.
What the hell is he?
Kind of what I said about him. Like,
I would love to have known what he said there. He's out here headbutting the screen.
Alfia starts swinging back, still lower down on the board, but you think of the last 2
what
rounds
a beast,
from
man.
11-9 down, He's been the main player doing the work.
Who do I have to pay, how much, and where do I wire the money? Just to hear
what he's saying?
In
Yeah,
that clip. That's all
for
I
sure.
want to know.
Sonia,
I
thank you so much for that as well. Thank you for the
Rest
2
of Fnatic
gifted.
got to it. I think that
149
would've
altogether now.
Lifted up the confidence
Thank
a
you
little
so
bit,
much, dude.
lifted the
Thank you,
morale
Sonia.
across the board for Vitality. Well, they
It's a
swept
Turkish
back
thing,
into
what,
this
headbutting
with a
people?
phenomenal, what, 7 or 6 out of 7 rounds? 7 out of 8 even.
A 500 dono? Surely
and
not.
at that point, you
How
know,
long
you're
have we
feeling
got?
like the game is under your thumb. But maybe they took their foot off the gas, or maybe Fnatic found another gear,
Oh my
whatever it is.
goodness. We got
But they've been
Noel
out of
with the
their
10, we've
last
got
That's the
Castradazi,
last few
Chez,
rounds, it
Drewface
was
with the 10,
Alfia finding a
Anon with the
1v1 or
100,
less, winning it,
Divine
it
Evil
opens
with the
up
15,
This time,
and then we got
they
2
have a lot
Anons,
of
one with
counter
100
utility
and
to
one
help.
with
He goes over
500.
the top,
What
finds less.
the hell?
That's the
Thank you
opening
so
on
much,
it.
guys.
Those 2 picks changed
Anon
around
is
massively, because
based,
I said,
actually,
he is someone
guys.
that's incredibly difficult
For
to dig
sure.
out of positions, but it also removes all
And I
utility.
think it
Everybody
must be
else
over
can
2,000
sneak
now,
in
so I'll do
after.
200 off this game.
And definitely makes those holds a little bit tougher for Vitality, of course. Not done yet. They still have a purchase.
The
Safe
money's
actually going to be the one
kinda-
managing the operator now. Getting aggressive in towards B
Kind of
main.
not great for Vitality now. They
Fnatic
get
have
2
been
9 loss
trying to bait
bonus.
out those
Wait,
pushes,
yeah, they get
get
2 9 loss
Vitality
bonus.
to play into their hands in a lot of these rounds. And a lot of it has been based around a bit of mid-control. Traps outside A and seeing what happens, but Chronicles moving away from
There's
that
a
A
lot
side.
of info from
Not
Vitality
gonna
on
be
this
watching
setup.
it at all as they now look to late commit
Like
to
a
mid-control
lot,
and
and
take over a little bit of B main.
He
Previously,
did tank the
it's been
flash, but he
battles
might
up
have seen him
against Seafoth,
beforehand.
if any.
Yeah.
But now the op being there caught them by surprise, and in a round like this, that's exactly what you want.
Anon, whoever
Opening
did the
pick
500, by
and
the way,
Fnatic
big
on the
shout
back
out to
foot.
you. Whoever you are.
Space taken though. Wow. A little bit cheeky from Boaster, looking to try and take the rounds into his own hands. I don't think Dirk is going to be forgetting about that one anytime soon. Kicks to respond. Aftershock to try and delay, but Chronicle's already on the other side of it. Doesn't expect anybody else to be that close.
Safe.
Back to level peg, and again,
Got a really
Safe
important
looking
shot
to
here.
go through the additional utility, just waiting for someone to try and hit that cross, and now just happy to take that man advantage.
No time to pick. Chronicle stuck in the corner, and Les won't let him out.
Whoa, what a shot.
Kayak grabs one after the plant with a reposition needed to step
He's
third,
unlucky.
and
He had to
Seafoth
W
on
forwards
his
because he knew he was going to
trail.
get swung from default.
12 rounds now for Vitality.
Okay,
A
one
hard-fought
chance, but
battle,
it's
one
been
they
getting
found,
close.
They will have an even harder
Alpha has his
battle ahead of
Razor
them, though, Tom,
still.
because
Wait, he had
I've
Razor
heard-
into
I think
this
I've said it
anyway.
a few times. The
That's a
Viper's
rough
Pit's
one
online,
to go
Tom. I
down
don't know
like
if you
this.
noticed that. Also a showstopper for Alpha.
A lot of these
Safe with the op, yeah,
have
it's
been
everything.
done before we've got to the retake. Like, this one was more so Safe. Going back to what we know him for, these aggressive operator plays, taking space in B main, and then being a bit cheeky on the edge of the utility. At this point, Fnatic may be expecting that they would be respected a little bit more, and that wasn't the case at all. Now, he's going to change it up again. Durka back on that operator. He still had his ult for a very long time, but as I said, a lot of these ultimates end up being situational. And if the picks go the way of Fnatic, for the most part, they haven't needed it.
You have a fairly easy solution for Fnatic in going Showstopper for entry and then Viper's Pit to claim the site. But that 1-2 punch is going to be expected, and often Vitality will play back from it now in terms of what they have to respond, keeping Safe, for example, alongside Salvos, alongside, well, yeah, exactly. We've got Seafoth playing inside B main. But the utility that's in play for Vitality, minus the drone now, could easily clear that back out. So I don't mind Fnatic not going barriers up,
Oh,
get
man,
in,
he's
take the
really-
site, because the reaction could still be there. But late on, that's exactly what the play is going to be. Leaving the pit late into mid, fired up into heaven was the
Sevo,
showstopper, but it won't
22
land
HP.
value, not in the form of a kill, but it's done damage, and it's sent Vitality into
Get over
a
towards
deeper
site.
hold.
Look
But
at
now,
how
they're
disattached
seemingly looking to retake that
Boaster
space.
and
Kicks inside
Chronicle
of
are.
the utility, he's pushing forward alongside his teammate Seafoth. They don't
Oh,
want to
that
relinquish
is
control,
nuts.
and that could be their biggest mistake. Alpha popping off with players soon to emerge from that smoke.
That was the second one place, but the time on it is ticking. This is so many
Oh,
enemies
look
to
at the
try and find,
shots.
and Alfia just isn't
What the hell
stopping.
is this round from
We are
Alpha?
going to overtime after another in-zone flawless
Bro,
Fnatic
he's
break
just
back, and I'll be
skipping
honest,
it.
that's now 3 rounds that we've seen of the last 4 that I'm going to give credit to Alfia.
I mean,
Absolutely,
for
yeah,
sure.
the step up has been night and day, and you look back, I think since that whiff that he had,
Great
and
shots.
the 300 odd bullets shot into his corpse, I don't know whether that got in his head, but definitely the performance hasn't been there. There's been some whiffy moments, but he's warmed up now. He's getting excited, he's on his feet. Also a check-in as we get into our first round of overtime. Chronicle will not have the Viper's Pit.
Okay.
I feel like that's worth highlighting.
Sphinx number 9 as well.
Like,
Was it 26 months? Thank you, bro. Alpha stood up. Yeah, it doesn't have
aggressive, disruptive comp. How in
doesn't
their
have
face
an
they were
incredible
being,
record.
How unlucky Chronicle was in some of those early duels. He was the guy taking the flak of the op shot.
Go back in level.
Stun salvos.
Always expected this series
might own
to
them
be
here.
in contest, but
They might own them.
overtime in map number 1.
Nah, I thought they were gonna. Oh, they did. Okay. I saw the other salvo here. I was gonna say I thought they were gonna change up their salvos from the info. That was nice. I like this though. They drawn. They're ready with the stun, and then they can just salvo on top of it. Like no matter what, they can kind of just force them off middle
felt
here.
like their bullets were just magnetized to his body, but this time around, it's the utility that does him in.
Smoke. I mean, he
Grab him
popped
in
the
that tight
smoke as
position
soon
and
as
not
he
let him go. Vitality
as soon as he got seen by the drone.
Got Crashies and Kayak holding the line, and Crashies has done pretty well, usually in a bit more of a passive spot, and I think that would be because you have Kayak in play. The trap had caught it. Crashies doesn't know there's players right around this corner, the entire team, in fact, coming his way, and that cage perfectly blocks what could have been a one and done, or at least a chance to get out. The gate crash,
so alone.
moving
Look,
to
they
backside.
are on the other side. There's
He's gonna
3
be
players
surrounded.
currently
Yeah,
on
I
B.
mean, he's
They gambled in
in so
completely the
much
wrong
trouble.
direction. They gate crashed away
They
from
haven't
this
got through
position.
the choke
So now
yet.
he has tried to delay. He's utilized whatever he can. Now it just comes down to, can he hold on to this backside? Can he take somebody with him? Otherwise, his retake's going to be
Fair play.
difficult. But he steps up with
Oh
me.
my God, bro. That was
Crashies.
sick without
He was
the
left on
X-ray
an
off as
island,
well.
But somehow he has
Or
survived.
uneven.
This puts that timer, that clock on.
Alpha's on that case as well. He's double satcheled in, bro. The individuals of Fnatic are going crazy.
You see him go by and they're like,
Huggy, thank you so much, bro.
Alpha's on
Thank
site.
you,
Deal
thank
with
you.
him real quick, and he just comes in with his shorty.
Appreciate the bets.
Raining down hell.
How did he get 3? Like, that's literally, just moments ago, we
Dude,
saw
this
a
was
rotation
insane.
from Kayak to the other side of the map going, okay, we think this is a B side.
He nearly got
here.
another.
He's at the back alone.
Damn,
No
bro.
one
Sick from
anywhere near
Alpha.
him, and manages to get 3. We talked about this guy back at kickoff as
Oh my
at times
God.
being a bit underwhelming. Maybe not being at
Looks like the assistant coach is going to take him out.
Wow.
Austin, bravo. Austin.
That was some vintage Crashies gameplay. And honestly, after last week, I was like, okay, can he do this versus the big boys? Yes, he can do this versus the big boys.
He just did, right in front of our eyes. You see that
That was so
play
funny,
even
man.
got Scut up on his feet. Milan's hand must hurt after
surprised
that
they're still in the
high five.
camera shot,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah, he crouched down a little bit. He knew the roof kept him at a reasonable height. But honestly, 13-12, Fnatic already providing us with a wealth of entertainment. Now they move to their attack side, but this is where the struggles have been. And in regulation, we saw all 4 timeouts used, but we moved to
Not much
OT,
talking in this
so
one.
more come online.
Just letting the players
Vitality
do it.
popping it in right away. They know that the Fnatic of old, they just walk away with this. Once they're given that lead back, there's no contesting it. For Vitality, well, they've stolen one of those players, Durka. I called him the prodigal son.
Crashies here. I mean, it's outrageous what he's done.
He was a little
To
slow
do that in
start.
overtime as well is
Will
just.
be one hell of a time to step up.
It's the kind of thing you dream of, really. It's so sick. But they have to close out still. But you must be feeling real confident. And everyone's catching up to both this top frag. They get in there. Still top fragging by quite a bit.
Has given them an advantage. Maybe they shouldn't have had. A man down, 3 found alone on site.
The impact on these is a solo round win. This is incredible timing for Chronicle. How confident he felt he's owned it.
Certainly got the utility to do so. Deep flash and haunt fired right in onto them. I don't know if they noticed there's 2 players there. I think they might have with how quick those shots came through. Fnatic have stepped back for whatever reason. And a very late play. Chronicle was playing right around here. Spotted that the drone came through from Tejo, that they would have A main cleared, gets himself into a corner. He's again looking for that reaction for Vitality to get it aggressive, but that hasn't really been happening. Again, this is a team that is content to give up that space and really fight them on the site itself. They don't want to fight in the beaches.
Recovering it.
Time is ticking though. This was one of the real cruxes of the attack side from Fnatic, hitting these sites with nigh on 15 seconds left.
30 seconds
maybe
left.
they had a pick by them. Maybe they had some info right now. Safe is still set up and ready. Still actually has those salvos available.
20 seconds.
It's going to be
20 seconds. Salvo, breach damage, double flash.
He's now got kicks alongside, and that said, he has bought them extra time.
Well, that's one. 10 seconds. No salvos anymore. Crashies, you gotta stick that. Oh, that is nuts. Dude, they're like entering sight on 18 seconds, man. It feels so rough. Dude, everyone backside of Beast is going crazy. Even backside of A.
We thought this could be a belter of a series, Tom. I didn't think the first map would go this hard.
Had to try to stick the first plant there. Yeah, it's rough. Like, you gotta put yourself in. It was it Crashies that was planting here. Like, as soon as that guy peeks side, though, you're probably getting off of that. You know you still have time to tap it again. He was the guy that got the kill.
Oh, that's the most like polite.
Thank
you. Don't have
you.
to mute Fader, guys. He's just gonna say thank you instead. Safe, under pressure, a very aggressive stance, but they retreat off it. Not wanting to give up the opener as the full force of
That's awesome.
Vitality
Because they forced their util over towards middle, but they didn't actually take it yet. So this is a little bit of a win for Fnatic. The problem is they don't know that they've got the win, if that makes sense. They think they've lost middle, so they react over towards B. Like there's a question mark in Benz, I guess is what I'm saying.
Fnatic managed to garner, we're under his belt. You can see that in this defensive side as well. I don't think we witnessed him this deep in B main. Maybe we saw
fake
others,
TP swing.
I think this is more of a confidence play.
Oh boy.
Oh, Chronicle.
Yeah, not expecting not expecting this angle from Chronicle. He thought he'd be further back.
One to find as well. Vitality, though, they're gonna stay strong in their play towards this A site, moving up into heaven. He said Kayak playing that little deeper, but it's going to be sold as a fake. They won't know that there's a player aggressive because Crashies is in that same old position, playing passive.
Nice fade eye for your mate.
Sends in the C's as well, and Kayak gives his position away, but it's well worth it. Landing himself the pick.
Dude, stage 1 Fnatic is really nice to watch.
Down low, TP, he won't get away. Oh, he will! Barely avoiding those shots in the smoke down to cover his retreat. No, he will not make it to sight, though.
Just a stray bullet got him.
And leaves one player
as long as one passenger stays alive and doesn't push him, they're okay. Very, very nice.
And it falls in favor of Fnatic.
Dude, they look really good. Dude, everyone looks good on defense at the moment, basically, is what we're seeing.
Space, but then having a response
The defense has been nice.
Like
We had solo play last overtime,
but
this one,
but then they know, okay, we've given up the vents, Crashies repositions to hold on to it, they then have aggressive control of the stairs as well to make sure that, okay,
honestly, I think Darker there probably would have been seen from the normal angle anyway. It would have been close. He went a little bit too early.
I knew he spammed, but I didn't think he caught him that early. It's a little bit unlucky for Sivov, but I think by that point the round was already firmly in the favor of Fnatic. On the coaching staff had decided we're actually going to take a pause after the victory, wanting to close out this map here and now. There's been a defensive marvel throughout the game. There's only those, like, obviously the last 3 rounds coming in, and a 3 cluster in the middle as well.
It's a preview of what Mini used to do in overtimes. Just listen to Bolster. Bolster's carrying the timeout.
Oh, you're seeing it there. This pause maybe even called by Boaster.
Maybe it was called. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the tier 1. Thank you.
Just to reset the mental, get them on the straight and narrow. It's been a long game. The longer it goes on, the more you know you put into it, the more that it feels like is on the line.
Oh
you can
my
see
goodness,
deep
look at some of these
breaths
crazy
from the coaches.
numbers.
You can only imagine how
Wait,
the
is
players
this another
feel.
500 from a different
14
Anon?
One
There's so many
more
anonymouses.
for Fnatic,
100.
things started to go right in that last
Another
one. We've seen
100,
Chronicle with that
500.
early pick-up.
Radical
Boaster
with the
still
50.
paving
Divine
the
Evil.
way
Thank you
for
with the 30.
squad.
Anna. And then
Vitality
Snow.
seeing the same struggles.
Snow with 250. Bro, we're on 3k already.
It's where they've been
Okay, I'll
putting
do
up those rounds. They looked great.
I'll do 400
into the
off
second
this.
half, a revitalized team. Let's see if it's the same in overtime number 2.
Idea is to try and sell
W's, yeah, get the W's in the chat. We're hitting some crazy numbers early.
From Durka is one that's going to be difficult to hold on to. Obviously trying to bait him out with the teleport back, but the fake smoke works out in Durka's favor. Adds Crashies down already.
She's gone, indeed. 3 players around this position as well. 2 players make
Dude,
that with Sivov down.
What a jewel that is.
Not yet
Was
spotted.
Saivo not
And that TP into backside from Kayak has
Is
gotten
he
them
committing
so
on his
much
own,
space
or?
to play with Alphier on the lurk, but he's being caught. Les knows that game. It's not one you're likely to beat him on. Numbers back in favor of the defensive side. And a retake was not even needed yet. Salvo's come in to delay the plan.
General irritation. Obviously Fnatic this time with a lot more on the clock. Plant will now be in their favor. Aftershock to try and create a more awkward scenario for Kayak, but he's not really
Oh
been
my
clean,
goodness.
Still, Kicks manages to
Oh
win
my
the
god,
battle,
how
and
did he
just
get
like
that one?
They fall like dominoes. It is a quick
Nice
retake from the side of
retake.
Vitality. We go again.
Kicks. I mean, he didn't commit down. He was still the guy on the ledge, so it wasn't like
I mean, we say it sometimes,
wild.
but blink and you miss it. Genuinely, I feel like that was synchronized. The opening pick by Durka onto Crashies as well.
I decided to
Don't
stick
have that
around.
same
Yeah,
ability to
he had to
reveal them.
TP out. But I wonder if he wanted to TP out there, and then Darker's wanting to fight, so he feels like he can't TP out, or he thinks he might get blocked with the TP.
Potential for the spike to move back in the other direction, but after the pause, it seems like Vitality were the ones to make best use of that time down. 14-14, overtime number 3. Fnatic are back on the defense. The B-side hold from Boaster has been strong enough that I'm surprised Vitality don't just start on the A.
I think a lot of the time, though, we saw both teams having that success. Running into the B side, it was the aggressive take, the pause, and then going back for it. But a lot of the time, that was when Boaster had swapped.
Yeah.
I think with his utility, he's much more able to slow them, but also isolate the player at the back of the site. That was the issue. If somebody TPs to the back of the site and you don't have anything to cover, you can't turn and face because you're stuck in the mud. Here, though, some early presence shown. You can already see the
drone fake over towards B.
4 rotations have been
After the
thrown
pressure
in,
over
clear
towards
that there's
middle.
an idea.
Right, question mark, question mark.
There's going to be a ruse
And then we're going to
sold.
see
I'm looking at safe
Salvos
outside
as well
B
or
main.
not? No, okay, we're getting
Potential
out of there.
maybe
Did they
a
go over
salvo
towards
or
the
two
site
to
with
be
2
thrown in just to
people?
sell the idea
The
they're on that
Chronicles
side of the
sitting at
How
2
much
HP.
space they've given up over on
Crashies is
Fnatic.
actually going to have to do it
You have to
again.
be worried about the Vents push up now because there is just no information to play with.
Chronicle did good to
steps
get
out
one.
wide, picks one but goes down. TP comes in.
With the contact, they Euro
TP
TP over. Wait, they're going for the B?
Confirms that he's here. They start to
25
suspect
seconds,
maybe
pivot
those
over towards B.
rotations have come into play.
Boaster.
And so the B site will be a bit
You got a
more
lot to
open.
do
They've
here.
made
Alpha
the
has a
right
nade
call.
to stop some of
But
this.
Boaster on the B site. Well, he called earlier,
God,
let me back on B. And here he is, but he has to hold off against the whole squad. 12 seconds. Plant needs to be connected very soon. That paranoia, perfect.
He heard the running of the clone
That's
as well.
a
Thought it
double
might have been
pickup
them.
from him with the paranoia alongside his buddies. And now a plant that should be difficult for Fnatic to get back into. That jump was heard, and Durka's more than ready for the angle from Crashies.
Okay, very nice from Vitality, and that's the one that's been the hardest to get, the attack round.
To potentially close this map out.
Well, you look back at how this has gone so far, Fnatic have been the ones that have had opportunities to close out this map, at least in overtime. Yeah, Boaster pretty much left out to dry. That was an attempt, I believe.
Yeah, they handled it well. You gotta look at
a bit of an obscure
the Omen
position
Util here. The
thrown
Omen
out by
Util was sick.
Vitality, knowing the
Smoke
risks
blocked
of him still
Alpha,
being on that
flash
side.
for Boaster.
Now with their chance to
Like,
close out
as
this
we
game,
can
they
see,
head onto
Boaster
the
probably
defense.
has to use a
Both teams
smoke
have
or a
been
star there,
thriving.
but
But as we know, when you get into OT,
you kind of feel worse if you get
matters
caught
not.
out using Util here. And then Boaster tried to Boaster got himself into this situation because he tried to reposition because he got seen back a site.
Push doesn't come through, so the
Faintad with
Boomba,
the
rather,
Prime.
put into
Thank you
play.
so much, bro. I appreciate that.
Durka was waiting for
Just
the
a little bit
repeat.
indecisive,
same
that's all it
spot
was.
as the last defensive OT. So I think Durka sat there thinking, they're not going to expect me to do the exact same thing twice.
They wanted that drone to
Durka
see them.
gets the
There's
up
no
out.
way that Chronicle didn't know that was coming into play. It's been pushing up in A main when they don't give contact every round. We even saw him not long ago play behind this box on his own, so the drone didn't see him and he could fill in the space. They knew that they were going to show 2 players there. And then nothing. A complete freeze, a complete stoppage on the play, and Fnatic start to rotate over. I'm curious if they think maybe Vitality will have started to leave the A site, leave it a bit more open with just less here.
Okay, well, at least
It's
they're
not
hitting the
case.
site
I
with
think because
a
Durka
bit more
still
time
has
than
complete
we've seen.
vision into
But this
B
looks
main.
scary
There's
still.
not
30
really been a
seconds,
mass
all
reason
coming
to
from
pull
A
those
main. Got no
rotations away.
backup
Also,
play.
someone normally
We got a
challenges
trip. It looks like
so
it's
instead
for
they're
this
gonna go
TP.
walked into a pretty stacked up site.
Wait, how did the trip break?
Stun is perfect though. That's safe eliminated immediately, but still they have to try and deal with less. This time he comes up Trump, still sat at the back.
Oh god, 15 seconds.
A second already dropped, looking for more, but eventually deal with.
Dude, Boaster in heaven.
The man returning to face his old team is all that stands. His IGL
Holy hell, they managed to do it. Chat, does anyone know how this trip died? Back to site.
They'll pull up an attack side round as well.
That's really impressive as well, because Vitality,
I thought he was going to TP into the trip.
They had passive play in mid, giving it up completely. We even saw a smoke
Nade
from Vitality on the defense into B Heaven to stop that angle from being peaked, because they didn't know if the push-up was coming. But it was a gamble. And I think it comes from the fact that Fnatic have not played mid. If anything, the only time they've really been around mid for that early fight is when they go into A Heaven and then go back through vents. So the take instead was set around, let's give up mid, let's
the trip
gamble
was
that they won't
here.
take it, and
You have
stack
to have a
the A
strong
side
arm
a
to
bit
get
more
that.
heavily.
Maybe it must have just been like a scatter nade and just hit there.
I
I actually saved him, by the way. Average TV, thank you so much for the 5 months, dude. Thank you for saying that, bro. Appreciate you. Oh, he got a little fadeaway here as well.
Wealth of rewards, a 2-piece pickup, and Vitality miles behind in this attack round.
Crash used to do that before, expecting Durka to try and be cheeky on the cross, and that's the second time he's been punished for the exact same play. Obviously about 10 rounds between the last time it happened. Crashy's less in a 1v1, and Les has taken it home.
It's a free site right now.
Still though, a hefty rotation of players. Oster trying to make sure the cross to site is not going to be an easy one, and they've also lost the battle within Heaven, leaving just 2 standing, and they know exactly where Kicks is going to be. Less to try and fight back, needs an ace to take it, and while with Dimensional Drift just basically being as awkward as possible.
He ended up handling it well.
Now comes up with a 4K of his own.
Big round, man. I mean, the first 2 kills are everything.
To close.
Well, that's it. The focus is very much around Durka playing his old team.
Void 270 with the prime. Thank you the 6 months. Appreciate
international
that.
events they've not just played at together, but won together as well, and the EMEA ones too. Let's not forget. He got the bucket. But for Fnatic, having someone like Kayak coming up against Durka, if you have a bad game, the immediate comparison is going to be...
Holy shit, I did like insanest flick, bro.
Yeah, he just did the wall bang.
But the comparison's always going to be that, oh, well, Kayak's not as good as Durka. It's a downgrade. If they lose the game, it's because Kayak didn't... If that was Durka there, man, he would have had 40. The reality is he's not only doing better than Durka, but he has had rounds that are all down to him. Big confidence builder for such a young talent. Although he's been through the ringer himself. 16-15. A chance for Fnatic to close out their map pick and forget
Nothing crazy on
how close
this.
this has been. Take a little bit of a breather before they move on to Lotus, where Vitality decided to take it today. The attack side again.
Oh, dude, I'm worried it's going to go into like a 20-second site exec again.
Aggression. Drone changes position this time. It's going to get a bit of information that they're waiting outside mid, something that hasn't been seen in a lot of these rounds.
Once again.
What the hell is that?
Chris hit that shot onto Chronicle and attempted retreat, and he will not get away.
He's tracking him the whole way. What a stun that was.
Now
Incredible stun. I'm surprised Kayak just doesn't go for that. They need to do something.
The idea that they're going into the B side. I like the idea.
Look at the rotation. Look at the rotate though. It looks like an instant reaction because he dies. And actually, we've got a free site to head into. Kayak doesn't realize just how much he sold it.
You expect that to be the complete commitment.
No, they don't. God, the fade eye goes in now. Dude, he's here so early as well. Oh my god, this is so nuts, man. They got a delay.
And a potential late position.
It's time to make a decision.
They use Astra Suck here and Smoke here, and so they've got no Astra Suck for the spike anymore. They're just delaying. They're just heavy delaying for Kayak.
Catching one at least, knowing the push is coming in, communicating that to his teammates. It results in a trade to start with. We're waiting for Kayak to complete this full wrap around, and it's a free kill presented. He will capitalize. Looking up top for safe, a good idea. Oh, it's a messy fight, but what he wins,
oh my god. Dude, this game is not Starker. This game is so nuts,
taking him down.
Dude, the comms were really late here. It looked like less than 100% know where it got killed from.
These teams on split.
Astra Suck used it for Heaven.
The longest map was, of course, yesterday.
Used it to try to delay them.
Mate. And obviously that was an 18-16. We are going to at least 18-16. We'll see if that continues. I think we've been there most of the time. We've had the longest maps in history.
And for Vine, what a game.
Thinking back to A little bit of FPX Forza.
Longest
Maybe,
map? I mean,
if you want to talk
we're
about
1
Fnatic,
hour
Fnatic
20,
mech.
24.
Yes.
And on Split as well.
Really long map.
These teams have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, but after what has been an absolute journey of a map, someone eventually has to take it. It seems like that could have been it.
Dude,
Vitality,
Fnatic definitely have a read, by the way. When they take Heaven here, I see everyone over-rotate.
Once again, he thrived in it when we kicked off OT.
It's just a straight up sight here as they're trying to react over towards A Heaven. Oh boy, this is nice though from Vitality.
Crashies has done the same with these A site holds, but no 3K this time.
They did a fair amount of damage through smokes, but
look how quickly the response is there. Les always causing problems. In your blind side is where he lives, and a double stack up will send
missing
Boaster
attack
to the
runs
Shadow
as
Realm.
well.
It's only Alpha Air.
Again though,
Looking to bring this
they
back.
had one earlier.
Vitality of 4 players alive, plenty of time to work with, and an off. Not great for a spray transfer, is it? 17 to 16. Vitality with map point on their opponent's pick.
The thing I've
It was kind of nice from Vitality.
You're watching two teams
How did
consistently adapt
how did they
to
die in
everything the
sight?
opponent is doing. Think back to the openings from Kayak in that defensive round.
Oh yeah,
where he's
dude, the
expecting
only person on
Dirk to
site
try
was
and jump across,
Crashies.
get
That's a
an opener
nightmare.
for it. This round was, we saw
Oh no, they had one.
huge
They had a guy
play out from
close.
Crashies at the back of the elbow. They send so much utility into that corner. There is no way he survives. They are so careful with it. And even, I think it was a paranoia while he's full spraying.
Doing nothing
to make sure
crazy.
there is no chance of
In terms
that
of the
happening
buys.
again. That adaptation makes the site so much more open.
Less, yeah, he's been good.
And the learning curve for either side, again, puts Vitality in that driver's seat. Heading into the defensive
I like this
side
from
of that.
Vitality. Every time they
Haven't
see
seen
this
too many
Viper
attack
smoke
rounds
over
so far
towards
in
middle,
OT.
they try and get Durka to hold this line on Heaven.
Minute 10 on the clock. Fnatic showing much more mid presence.
Oh, that's the B
most of the
main
rounds,
Lark. That's the
looking to
duelist.
make
Now you
their
kind of
way
know that
through,
they've
but
got a
Alpha, This has
split.
been the consistent factor. He's been lurking around B main, trying to pressure, trying to take Durka off.
Normally
the
what will
angle.
happen
This
now
time,
is the person that's
running into
trying
less.
to prod over
About their
towards
attack
A will
rounds.
get a little
When
bit
they won
aggro.
attack rounds, he was the
But
focal
Durka
point.
should really be
Finding
expecting a
either an
duel soon.
opener, picking off less, like winning that battle, as you said, or coming up with
Okay,
3
as
or
we can
4
see with the
kills.
spike over towards B, the plan is
This
to
time they're
hit
gonna have to
B.
try and deal without him, and that will
We
burn
can see,
the clock.
dude, that's
40
the
seconds
3
left.
person sight.
And they are only just clearing out positions in mid. The spike also outside B without a whole lot of help.
Does this cause a
This is
rotate? No,
dangerous
not really. Just stun and
round at this
Teo.
stage from Fnatic.
Davos.
They failed to take down
Oh, the
Kicks
Omen
as well.
flash hit, dude.
Still
They got
so
20
much util
seconds.
online. He's forced
Trying to
forward though
cross.
by the
Sorry,
snake
Crashies
bite.
us to
A
win
chance
this.
if they can pick him off, but instead it's Kicks finding one up above. Less consistent, and he's on the side with just his dinner to finish. Boaster and Crashies. And it's Crashies to take the kill. Keeping this doable for his side, but a plan has to be stuck surely. Barely any time left, and now no choice. Durka with the swing could end it all
Okay, yeah,
here.
nice round
And
from
that's
Durka. Dude, what a
exactly
map
what
this
he
was. It
does.
was wild.
The final dagger in the back from their
16-18.
former squad mate. And it is 18 to
Dude,
16.
Split it. I
We
really hope
went the
Split just
distance
stays
here.
in for a long, long
Vitality
time.
1-0 up going into their own map pick.